talkSPORT Sports Update, powered by the Nissan Van Range. Commercial vehicles that go the distance for your business. Search Nissan Vans or head to your local Nissan Van Centre.
Good afternoon, I'm Toby Gillis. The foursomes at the Ryder Cup are now underway, and it's been a decent start for Bryson DeChambeau and Justin Thomas against John Rahm and Tyrrell Hatton. They are 1-up through 3, and the team of Rory McIlroy and Tommy Fleetwood also 1-up through 1 against Colin Morikawa and Harris English. The other two still very much all square. Now, we're told football clubs at all levels must prioritise longer run-offs and softer materials around pitches following the death of Billy Vigor. The ex-Arsenal player collided with a brick wall while playing for Chichester City. Ex-Plymouth forward Alex Fletcher had to retire after a similar collision with an advertising hoarding and told us things can't stay as they have been for a century.
It may have worked sort of back in time. I mean, my football club itself is around 100 years old, and I can't imagine there's been much update to the surroundings of the pitch since then, when players might not have been as quick or as physical as the game is now.
Now, apparently Man United are improving. No, me neither. But you do tend to listen when it's Rio Ferdinand talking.
I'm not driven and sticking to data, but a lot of the data does tell you that Man United are getting into the right positions, they're doing the right things, and the hardest thing to do in the game is to put the ball in the back of the net, and that's where Man United are falling down.
Now, you can hear that supposed improvement exclusively on talkSPORT tomorrow lunchtime when they go to Brentford. Maybe an extra £5 million on the offer a few days before the deadline for Liverpool to sign Mark Gahey would have been worth it, given their young defender Giovanni Leone is now out for a year with an ACL. They're now trying to replace him in their Champions League squad with Federico Chiesa. And he's one of the greats, maybe even underrated. But there'll be no more Sergio Busquets for us to enjoy. He's retiring at the end of the MLS season with Inter Miami. Loads more at talksport.com.
talkSPORT News.
Kneecap rapper Liam O'Haney says he won't be silenced after terror charges against him were dropped, and the Prime Minister has announced new compulsory digital ID cards. More from the news team at past.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit, your go-to destination for quality tyres from great brands like Continental. Visit your local centre or quickfit.com and book today.
Turning cloudy this afternoon, windy across Scotland, rain from the west tonight.
This is Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs with you through until 4 here on talkSPORT. Where this afternoon, Andy, please tell us what's coming.
Well, coming up over the next 3 hours, Stan Collymore talks Villa last night and previews the Premier League weekend. We'll hear from the man who broke that 4.5 billion Spurs takeover story. And Harry Potter's George Weasley, Oliver Phelps, tells us what it was like playing in yesterday's Ryder Cup, yeah.
Ryder Cup, you'd like a Ryder Cup cap, wouldn't you?
I would. Ryder Cup All-Star match.
Rupert will bring you one back. They're probably about 50 quid, so you'll have to front it. We're also after your snooker-themed cricketers. It is Friday, we can bring in games. And we'll preview the Rugby World Cup final, Women's Rugby World Cup final tomorrow. And of course, we'll keep you regularly updated with events over at Bethpage Black.
There's all this plus the clips of the week, the Fools panel, and Jason Kelsey joins marching band.
Yeah.
Todd Macklin's American Sports Roundup.
He sure does. 5 minutes past 1. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Andy.
Good afternoon, Paul.
It's underway, isn't it?
Yes.
We're keeping an eye on events, the foursomes. are out there and will be making regular trips throughout the afternoon to Rupert Bell, keeping us updated at the Ryder Cup.
I was quite shocked, though, to see how much home advantage has been a factor since 2012. I mean, every Ryder Cup has been a complete blowout, really, since then. So since the miracle of Medina, so let's hope it is close, whatever happens. Otherwise, it would be quite tedious. I watched the second half of the Villa game.
Well, let's be positive, mate.
No, it's true.
I know, I know your point. The
sport,
stats are not great, are they?
No.
True.
I watched the Villa game last night, second half anyway. Yeah.
Okay.
They did all right. I feel for a bit for Morgan Rogers. He's really struggling. He's had his head turned. He wasn't happy with what happened in the transfer window. I think.
You think?
I think so, because he was all right for England. He absolutely gave the ball away 29 times last night.
Did you count, or did you?
No, I heard.
Stat? I was going to say that's a bit of a deep dive on Morgan Rogers.
No, I did.
It's getting a bit personal when you do stuff like that.
Fantastic air shot for the first goal. Just missed the ball completely.
No, don't tell me about air shots.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, so if you were watching Tottenham on, we had two for the price of one.
Really?
Matty's tail, God bless him, he's trying very hard, but we had 2 air shots.
Funny enough, I didn't bother with Spurs versus Dunkers.
I
don't know why.
If I weren't a Spurs fan, I probably wouldn't have done either.
I had a thought about Villa set-piece coach Austin McPhee and professional Rick Wakeman lookalike. I was thinking, I bet he's got all the stats on 3 different laptops, which he works at the same time.
Yeah, but whilst wearing a cape.
The cape.
Do you think he puts a cape on and works 3 laptops at once and maybe has a curry halfway through doing it, the way that Rick did once when he was playing with Yes. Remember that?
Yes, of course.
Doing that sort of drum solo was coming up.
It was incredible.
Something that didn't involve him or just John Anderson vocals and guitar. And so he had, I think he had a chicken biryani delivered to him at the organ.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, good idea. That,
eat that while doing it.
We'll have to get Rick back in. He's a mine of.
He's very good on football.
Yeah, he's great on football. Yeah.
Now, one of the things you invented, I think, is that players. Well, you did. It was your thought originally. Players.
Not the wheel, is it?
No, players who sound like accountants.
Oh yeah, that's very much. And it all started out with Bernard Hopkins.
Yeah.
And I always thought, could you say the name of of any sports person, but you have to say it in this context. You have to say, you say. You should see my man Bernard Hopkins.
Yeah.
He'll save you a hell of a lot of money.
That's right, yeah.
So if you can say that, I mean, the other one was in the world of golf. You should see my man Trevor Immelman. He'll say you a hell of a lot of money.
How about this one, though?
Okay.
Playing for Bologna last night, Bernardeschi. You must see my man Bernard Eschi.
Bernard Eschi. The great thing about Bernard, he's always got a cold beer on hand. That's right.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Marvellous.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And
you just got that one, haven't you?
I did, yeah. Watching Mastermind last night from
were you?
Night. Yeah, it was
Mastermind and Villa. You watched I watched the first half of Mastermind, then the second half of Villa.
That's exactly what I did.
Okay, fair enough.
And one of the specialist subjects was Seve Ballesteros.
Yeah.
And Clive went, yes, the charismatic Spanish golfer who won 5 major titles in the 70s and 80s. Not Steve Ballesteros, the plumber. For goodness sake. We all know Seve Ballesteros is, Clive.
You have to give a bit of background, don't you, to set the whole thing up for those that aren't sports fans like you. So, I didn't know this story, but Jimmy White's grandson is a cricketer, plays for Surrey, doesn't he?
Yes, Ralphie Albert.
And he's been England under-19s and stuff, hasn't he? So
his debut for Surrey made a half-century yesterday, and he got 2 wickets with his left-arm spin, so he's obviously a real prospect.
Yeah.
No, he can't be playing for Surrey because he got down.
No, he can't. He's not playing. Who's he playing for?
Must be playing for Hampshire.
Hampshire.
Yeah.
But I know he has been playing for England because I saw Jim posted a video of him getting his cap. So he's obviously, as you said, a prospect. But that's not why we're talking about it. We're talking about it because
he is.
He's a cricketer and he's sort of the grandson of a famous snooker player. So it is Friday, so we thought we could...
Jimmy White, that is.
Yeah, snooker... You did say that, didn't you? Snooker... doesn't matter. Snooker-themed cricketers. I did. Snooker-themed cricketers. We haven't got many, have we?
No.
Haven't got any, have we?
The trouble is, I can only think of one, Judd Stump.
That's it.
That's it.
That's pretty lame, isn't it?
Yeah, well, thank you very much.
You often find... I mean, I was Billiards Edrich, which is rubbish.
Probably worse.
It is. So often we'll do this, and the listeners...
Hopefully you can come up with something. I couldn't. I tried.
Yeah. I'm not sure. Nigel Adley tells us, in the 70s, Southampton had a player called Forbes Phillipson Masters.
I remember him.
Which sounds like a firm of solicitors, doesn't it? He says it sounds like one of Bertie Wooster's chums.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure he'd be your accountant. If he said, you should see my man Forbes Phillipson Masters, he'll save you a hell of a lot of money.
No.
I don't think I could afford him. I imagine, posh office. And
I'd say he's more of a a sort of QC barrister.
Yeah, that's right. You go to him when it all goes pear-shaped.
He's very expensive, though. And one of the things that happened in the game last night, I'm not the first person to say this, definitely not, but it's a mad expression when the commentator, Castro, the Bologna player, headed the ball against the bar.
Yeah.
And the commentator said, and he was denied by the woodwork. And you think that's a completely nonsensical concept, isn't it? I mean, the woodwork has no choice in this.
It's an inanimate object.
It just stays there. So.
You're an inanimate object. Yes, you certainly are.
So don't say denied by the woodwork.
Well, technically you are, but I know what you mean.
Yeah, you're not really, are you?
I was going to say something then. What the heck was it?
I've no
come
idea.
back. Oh, yeah. I can't get over the hump of Mussolini playing for Bologna.
Really?
Yeah.
That's not a great name, is it? Oh, he's related, he's related, isn't he?
I mean,
he said he wasn't prepared to
great grandson.
Yeah.
He hasn't dropped it.
I know, it's a bit odd, isn't it?
Dave Hitler's on the left. No, he's not, of course. Of course he's not. He's not on the left wing. He's not. So let's...
Dave Hitler.
Let's cross over, as we said, it is Friday and all that. But Rupert Bell is watching the Ryder Cup unfold over in New York at Bethpage Black. Hey, good afternoon for the first time, Rupert. How are we faring, Europe?
So far, reasonably encouragingly, I would say, because we are currently up in 2. Ooh. Because Ludwig Eiberg and Matt Fitzpatrick have just gone back into the lead against Scotty Scheffler and Russell Henley with a birdie at the par 5 fourth hole. The world number 1 and Henley could only par that hole. And Rory McIlroy and Tommy Fleetwood got a birdie at the first. They're playing the third, and they are 1 up. Elsewhere, Bob McIntyre and Victor Hovland are all square in their match. It's really close, the DeChambeau and Thomas match against Ram and Hatton, because they are 1 down, the Europeans. But it's since the early birdie, it's been really tense between these 4 players. But the Americans only 1 up. So at the moment, Europe up in 2. All square in 1 and down in 1. So they would win the session if it stayed like this. But a lot will happen over the next couple of hours or so. But it's very tense in the early stages.
Rupert, I heard you say earlier on to Sam and the fellas that the European fans were singing, "Is this a library?" But I suppose once the bar's open, we're still quite early, isn't it? Give it a few hours, it may get a bit more raucous.
Well, not at $15 half a glass. I think you need to have a mortgage to come in here. But for your $750, you can get in. You can get all the food and soft drinks you want, but you have to buy the drinks. So maybe, and I think they start the bars at 9 o'clock this morning. And the crowd around the first, I unfortunately have been in the media centre, but people who've come back and have actually said, the Americans, a bit of all talk and no trousers, as they say, because they've been talking a big game, but they were really subdued. But hopefully the Europeans will continue to keep them quiet by some of their play. Well, I've just seen one of the Europeans pull his tee shot rather dramatically to the left. So hopefully not too serious, because the rough is pretty tame in the main part of the course, but if you go further left, then there's some rather nasty looking stuff that can make your next shot a very difficult one. So a good start from the Europeans at the moment, as I say, up in 2 at the moment.
Thank you, Rupert.
It's a lot of money to get in, isn't it?
Yeah, 750 quid. All the food you can eat. I mean, I know that...
Yeah, but blimey.
Be quite big eaters, but that is pushing it a bit.
It is, I think.
Anyway, we'll be back to Rupert throughout the afternoon.
And you'll have to tip everybody like about 20%.
Well, that's only if they bring it out to you. You may have to go to the trough yourself. I don't know. Anyway, Rupert Bell with us throughout the afternoon here on talkSPORT.
Ryder Cup update on talkSPORT with Arnold Clark Charge. Ultra rapid EV charging at an ultra low price. Terms apply.
We'll kick off this afternoon chatting to Martin Lipton from The Sun. Had a very interesting exclusive overnight. A takeover bid from an American consortium for Spurs. The club have subsequently issued a statement in the last hour or so saying they categorically reject an informal bid by the man that Martin was talking about.
He'll be thinking about it.
I would imagine Martin, his sources were very strong. I wouldn't be at all surprised if he has been briefed. He may or may not tell us that in a moment because he'll keep his sources close to his chest. But there's clearly something. Something in this.
Yeah, there is, and it shows what a good job Daniel Levy did in the sense of what he was asked to do. Because Spurs get sold for that. It's because they built a fabulous stadium and a fabulous training ground, and they've got a decent team.
In the meantime, you won 86 trophies, and we've played 20 years with a handbrake semi.
Yeah, but
the game's about glory, I believe.
That's true, but that'll all change now because Chelsea have gone from. Although they have won 2 trophies again, it's true. But generally, it's more about building all the time.
Anyway, we'll get the strength and what's going on. Get Martin's reaction to that statement. I mean, the idea of saying the club's not for sale. If someone comes in with a £4 billion package, I think everybody's for sale. But we shall see. Jessica Hayden joins us. She wrote the book on the England women's rugby team. They play in the final tomorrow, and Jess will be here to preview the game against Canada. Canada's story is quite amazing, really.
To England, it is.
We'll tell you more about that later. Ollie Phelps, an old Bunbury's teammate of ours, was over at the Ryder Cup. He played in the All-Star game yesterday.
He's a good golfer.
Yeah. So we'll have a chat with Ollie. Maybe is he Villa or Blues? Is it?
One of them is Villa.
Well, I think he's Villa and his brother's Blues, but if I've got that wrong, I do apologise. Anyway, we'll chat with the fellas later on. We'll certainly chat to Ollie. But Martin Lipton up next to talk Spurs. We're here with Tool Station. Next stop, Tool Station. thanks to all the Potter completists who've told us that Oliver is Villa, James is Birmingham, Jeff Peters, our old mate, official scorer of the birthday spread, even steps in with their mum is West Brom, I believe. So there we are. We will have a chat with Ollie Phelps a little bit later on. But there I was, just ready to go to bed last night. The story breaks and I got sucked into Martin Lipton's vortex because there was an...
What a band they were.
Yeah, there was an exclusive in The Sun, £4.5 billion bid for Tottenham from an American consortium led by a sort of tech bro.
You know, if it's not this one, it'll be another one. It's definitely going to get some.
The club, in the last hour or so, as we said, have issued a statement unequivocally rejecting the bid, unofficial bid. I think they called it, I think, casual bid, or what the wording was. But anyway, they're saying they're still not for sale. They maintain that. But isn't everybody for sale at the right price? Let's chat now to the man who broke the story. The Sun's very own Martin Lipton. Good afternoon, Martin.
Good afternoon, and never get sucked into the vortex, whatever happens.
So, as I said, the story's moved on a bit. For the people who haven't seen the story today or know much about it, it's probably worth giving a little bit of background. I don't expect you to give up your sources, but the level of detail in your piece would suggest they're pretty close to the source of this bid. So tell us a little bit more about this guy, Brooklyn Eric, and his consortium.
Well, I think it's fair to say we're talking about a slightly colourful character here. Now, I had to do a bit of research when I found out about this. So I discovered that Brooklyn Eric, and that's how it's pronounced apparently, is 41 years old, from Ohio, used to be a DJ in what he described as electronic music. Now, you will know better than I, being cutting-edge youngsters, electronic music might be. Sure. I have no flipping idea whatsoever. Yeah. Nevertheless, that's what he did. He did lots of clubs across the world, including in Europe. Apparently his favourite club is the Escape in Amsterdam. I'm sure you're regular habitués there.
Yes. Yeah,
extremely well.
Got a season ticket.
It's in the Rembrandt Platz, apparently. So it's right at the Rembrandt Plain, right in the middle of Amsterdam. So
nice.
It's obviously a cooking spot, if that's the
He'll buy Ajax instead now. Don't give him any ideas.
So he then ended up working for NASA briefly. I don't quite know what role. And then went into some sort of tech role. He launched a number of apps, blockchain, all these things that you and I probably don't understand. No. Nevertheless, he is putting together this consortium of a dozen Americans, a number of whom apparently are NFL and NBA owners or have part ownership in clubs in those leagues, to buy Tottenham. And the bid that's on the table, which has been indicated rather than formally put at this stage, as we reported last night, is 3.3 billion up front, plus a 1.2 billion pot to spend on players. And obviously that's not just fees, that's wages and agents' fees and all the stuff that goes around it. So Spurs are not going to spend 1.2 billion on players in January for a variety of reasons. One, that you can only change 3 in your Champions League squad anyhow, and it doesn't quite work like that. Nevertheless, there is a substantial, significant, and by Tottenham's standards, unprecedented potential spending pot, which, given the historic situation with the wage bill left by Daniel Levy, there's a lot of leeway for them to spend a lot of money. There's no doubt about that. Now, that bid was an informal bid tabled directly to ENIC and the Lewis family. The expectation from Brooklyn Eric was that it would be rejected, because that's what happens. No one accepts the first bid. It wouldn't accept the first bid if you're negotiating in a market stall, do you? I mean, it's let alone for a multi-billion-pound business. Forbes, the business magazine, values Spurs at 2.6 billion, so 3.3 is a 27% uptick on that. Suggests to me that there's going to be significant interest in listening to this bid properly, if and when it's formally made. The announcement by the Stock Exchange today puts a deadline by which Eric and his team must make that formal bid, which is 5 p.m. on October 24. My understanding is that the bid will be made significantly before that.
From ENIC to Eric.
That's true. That will be the title of the book when Martin writes it. Now, the club have not only said that they've rejected this informal expression of interest, they've also said the board and the club and ENIC reconfirmed that Tottenham Hotspur is not for sale, and ENIC is not looking to sell its stake in the club. So they are doubling down on something they said a couple of weeks back after Daniel Levy left. I mean, they seem pretty strong on the fact that they don't want to sell and they're not prepared to sell. But how do you view that, Martin?
Alexander Isak was not for sale.
Yeah, exactly.
Any price, apparently. Look, if you've got a property which you value and someone wants to buy it, you don't say, yeah, let's do a deal. You say, no, I'm not interested in that. You know, of course you do. That does not mean that I'm saying that the club is going to be sold to Brooklyn Eric and his team. Nevertheless, the fact that they've gone to the stock exchange to announce that they've rejected the initial approach is fairly evident that there was an initial approach, if nothing else. And to use a phrase beloved of a bloke born on April 23rd, 500 years ago, the game's afoot. And now let's see how it plays out.
Paul made a very interesting point there about American owners, and that once they get to 14 American owners...
It's Danny Kelly's Doomsday Scenario, who are another good band. They supported the Martin Lipton Vortex, I think, at Glastonbury. But Danny makes the point that it's this idea of a critical mass of US owners getting to 14, having the power to veto, really, in the Premier League, and saying, yeah, let's do away with promotion and relegation. Who needs all that uncertainty in our businesses? I mean, look, it is the Doomsday Scenario.
I think that's a genuine threat. I think that people were fearful. What I would say is the regulator would probably be able to preclude that, as would the FA with its golden share. But we know the Americans don't understand the concept of promotion and relegation. They think it's ludicrous, small-minded thinking by small-minded people on a small-minded part of the planet that isn't America. Nevertheless, that is the model of most global football. And indeed, I think MLS are talking about Division 2 as well. So maybe even the Americans are starting to get the hang of the idea.
It might be the end of PSR, though.
It could be the end of PSR.
Financial rules, albeit they've still got the clubs in Europe have still got to meet UEFA regs on squad cost ratio, which is 70% of wages and transfers of revenue. So there is a degree of financial rules that even the owners can't get round. I think paralleling, mirroring UEFA rules is the obvious way forward for the Premier League, but a lot of clubs at the moment don't want to do that and want to stick with PSR, which I think is a folly, but that's because they think there's more leeway and latitude and loopholes they've yet to take advantage of. What I do think would become more pressing as far as most fans are concerned, if you do get a 14 Premier League owners from America, and I said this to Richard Masters when we met in August, despite him being insistent that there's no plans and no interest and no willingness and no wish to play games abroad, there's nothing he can do if 14 of his clubs want to do it. And that, I do believe, is a genuine threat. And it's interesting today, we've had news from Spain where the supporter groups of both Barcelona and Villarreal, 18 different fan groups, have written to the Spanish FA pleading with them to intervene to stop that game between those two teams being played in December. The reality is its direction of travel. We know that the Serie A want to play Milan v Como in Australia. It would be unusual for the Premier League not to look to do that if the clubs wanted to, or they would do it if the clubs wanted to. And you'd end up selling those games in America in a separate contract, I suspect, which would end up making the clubs a fortune more. And as we know, it's all about the money.
Sure.
Money.
Yes, Martin, thank you. It's a great story.
Martin,
I'm sure you'll be keeping an eye on it. So we'll keep reading and look for developments in the US Consortium takeover. Thanks very much.
Cheers, then.
There's Martin Lipton there from The Sun, who broke that story last night about a potential takeover at Spurs. We said the club are saying that they've rejected this informal move, but as Martin said, the game's afoot. We shall see. We're getting some very good snooker-based cricketers.
Oh, good.
So we'll bring you those shortly, but let's head back to Bethpage Black. Rupert Bell is on hand to tell us how it's going in the foursomes.
Well, at the moment, it's all square, basically, because US leading 2 and Europe leading 2. But the top match is proving a real thriller. John Rahm just hit an amazing recovery shot from out of the rough to ensure that the team didn't lose that particular hole. In fact, had a chance to win it. Tyrrell Hatton's putt slipping by, but they're still one down after 6 holes. Scotty Scheffler and Russell Henley, well, they are 2 down to Ludwig Eiberg and Matt Fitzpatrick. That's after 5 holes. Rory McIlroy and Tommy Fleetwood just keeping up in front. In fact, have just gone 2 up against Morikawa and English, so looking good in 2 matches for Europe. The others tight. Xander Schauffele and Patrick Cantley have just birdied the second hole to go 1 up against Bob McIntyre and Victor Hovland. So at the moment, moment, it couldn't be more evenly matched, with Europe up in 2 and down in 2.
Ryder Cup update on talkSPORT with Arnold Clark. Get the UK's best used car deals, guaranteed.
We're going to look ahead to the Women's World Cup final between England and Canada tomorrow. And Ollie Phelps of Harry Potter fame, George Weasley, joins us live from the Ryder Cup, where he played in the All-Star game yesterday.
We are underway with the Ryder Cup in New York, with Europe looking to score a first away win since the miracle at Medina 13 years ago. It's foursomes and then four balls today, but that can be a challenge in itself. Chris Wood, the golfer, not the Nottingham Forest forward, played in the 2016 contest and says it can be tricky, especially if you're playing with a different ball.
You can go 3 or 4 holes in foursomes without hitting a putt, and then all of a sudden you've got a 10-footer for a half with a ball that you're not used to.
Yeah.
That's what I found quite challenging, with the feel of the ball and the speed of the greens and all that side of things.
Liverpool's new young defender Giovanni Leone will be out for about a year after tearing his ACL. Here's Arne Slot.
Being so young, coming to a new country, playing so well in your first game, it's very hard to take the positive side. No, there's never a positive side, but yeah, you always try to look at a positive side, and that is that he's still so young.
It's unbeaten Liverpool against unbeaten Crystal Palace in the Premier League tomorrow. Rio Ferdinand's told talkSPORT Man United are improving. No, seriously.
I'm not driven and sticking to data, but a lot of the data does tell you that Man United are getting into the right positions, they're doing the right things. And the hardest thing to do in the game is to put the ball in the back of the net. And that's where Man United are falling down.
United go to Brentford, exclusively live on talkSPORT tomorrow lunchtime.
Good afternoon, Paul Hawksbee, Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT. Tomorrow we have the Women's World Cup final. It has all come down to England versus Canada. And Canada got quite the story. So we're going to talk about that, and we're going to talk about the England team and talk about the match itself with someone who's been right across the tournament and wrote the book on the Red Roses. The Red Roses behind the scenes with the England women's rugby team. She's also the assistant sports editor of The Observer. Jessica Hayden. Good afternoon, Jess.
Good afternoon.
So, I was reading a little bit about the Canadians, because we are pros. The England team are pros, aren't they? Is right?
Yep, they've been full-time professionals since 2019.
Whereas the Canadians aren't. They had to kind of crowdfund their way over here. Despite that, they are number 2 in the world, so they were kind of expected, or they were seeded second, so they were expected to get here. So, I mean, they've done incredibly well, considering they're not full-time.
Yeah, exactly right. They've crowdfunded their way here, as you say. So they had this mission, Get to the World Cup. That was the title of their fundraising mission. And they've got here, and they're in the final, so it's fantastic. They are one of the only teams in rugby where the women's team is far better than the men. So the women are obviously second in the world, as you said, and the men are in the 20s. I think they're 23rd in the world. So it's very rare in rugby for the women's team to outperform the men as much as the Canada team do.
I mean, yeah, how has that happened? I mean, have they just got very good coaches? Is there kind of good resources, even though the women aren't pros? Or?
The key to it is that the Canada team, a lot of them relocated to England to play in the Premiership Women's Rugby. So some of the star players, including Sophie de Goody, play their club rugby in England. So they've been able to train with the best facilities women's rugby in the world, and also against the best players.
Is it going to be a close final? Because some of the games have been blowouts, haven't they?
Yeah.
Early on, certainly.
Yeah, definitely. You know, the worst question anyone could ask me this week is who's going to win it.
Okay.
Because I keep changing my mind.
All right.
I was on talkSPORT 3 days ago and I said, I think England are going to win it by 7. Then I was writing my preview piece for The Observer about the final, and I thought, you know what, I think Canada might just get this. Because so far this tournament, I would say Canada have been the stronger side. I've been so impressed with Canada. But England still are the best women's rugby team in the world. They're on a 32-match winning streak. Of the last, I think it's 63 games they've played, they've only lost 1. But that one was the last World Cup final.
That was a great game.
Yeah.
It was fantastic, but I was just at the edge of my seat. I could barely watch at the end. It all came down to one line out for those who didn't watch that match. And if England won the line out, they won the World Cup. If they lost it, they lost the World Cup. They lost the line out and they lost the World Cup. So anything can happen. But what I would really say is you can't underestimate this Canada team. They are the fastest at the ruck of any Rugby World Cup team, men's or women's, ever. They are phenomenal, and they have some real star power in that team. So Canada absolutely could win this.
Is it clash of styles, Jess, as well, or not?
In some ways, yeah. I think it's interesting because England haven't been playing their traditional style this tournament. So I'd say their traditional style is very much focused on the set piece, the scrum and the line out. And they do a lot of things like they get a line out in the corner and then they do a driving maul after the line out to just get over those few yards. And when England are pushing in a maul, it's very hard to stop them. But this tournament, what they've been doing is playing a much more fluid style of rugby, more offloading and trying to open up the wider channels on the pitch. So what I mean by that is getting the ball to the wingers. And you've seen people like Ellie Killdun, the fullback. She's been the star of this tournament. For many people, they've seen her as like this sort of superstar of the Rugby World Cup. But actually, I think for this final, England are going to have to go back to that original game plan of just forward heavy. Whereas Canada, what really sort of shows what their style is, I guess you would say, is very fast ruck speed, as I said. So getting the ball away, really moving through the phases quickly so that England will barely have a chance to defend the ruck before the ball's gone and the next phase is on.
Right.
And they have so many options in the back and in the forwards with strong carriers that they are just a quick, high-tempo team.
So, are you expecting an entertaining game, or is it just too much at stake? And also, England are under that bit more pressure because they are hosts, and there's an expectation with all the resource that they have that they do go and win it now.
Absolutely. It's interesting you say about is it going to be entertaining or not, because Simon Middleton, the former England Red Roses head coach, said once that no World Cup final is ever like a classic, brilliant rugby match because it's such a fight and you have to win it. And it doesn't really matter how you play as long as you win.
Yeah.
That's the important thing. So I think we will see from England almost a regression into that very forward heavy, moving the ball slowly up the pitch style of rugby. I hope we will also see moments of magic from centre Meg Jones and Ellie Killdun. But this will undoubtedly be an exciting final because of Canada. The way they play, they do not know how to play boring rugby. So it's going to be great. And what I'd say about that they have to win it. They have a packed out Allianz Stadium in Twickenham, over 80,000 fans expected to be there. It's a sellout. They have to win this match. That, you know, everything is riding on this for England. We really can't overestimate that, because England lost the last World Cup final. They lost the one before that too. They haven't won a World Cup final since 2014, which was against Canada, by the way. And not having won a World Cup in that long, when you are the number one team in the world, it's not right. You have to win the World Cup final, I think.
Could there be financial consequences to this, you think?
Not that we know of from the RFU, and I'd be very surprised if the RFU took away any of the professionalism that the women are offered. And they did also promise that there was going to be more certainty to England women's contracts. So I don't think there's going to be a financial penalty for losing.
We saw the impact of the Lionesses made on the whole country, really, and especially young girls wanting to take up football. Do you think the tournament has made the impact that it should have done? Because it's been up against a really crowded part of the sporting calendar.
It's interesting because I think, yes, there was some research that came out by MasterCard this morning that they've been able to find evidence that there's been an impact in the number of sign-ups by girls to play girls rugby and women's rugby in England. So there's definitely some element of inspiration. I don't think it's quite been the Lionesses effect that we hoped for, in terms of how everyone was just so captivated by the football this summer, weren't they? And also back at the last tournament as well. And I think that the Red Roses really do need to win for us to have this moment. It sort of takes me back to 2003. Until Johnny Wilkinson kicked that ball over and England won it, that was when everyone sort of switched on. Wow, okay, this is a moment that we'll remember forever. I think that to make this tournament have that impact that the Lionesses had, you have to win it. And as I say, it doesn't matter how you play as long as you win. No one's talking about the Lionesses' shaky defence now, are they? You know, by the time they'd lifted the trophy, everyone's just saying how amazing the Lionesses are.
It's all about winning.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, you know, that's true. After the event, you may see a real pickup. You know, if the girls go and win at the weekend, suddenly there'll be lots of press and lots of excitement and lots of stories coming out about the team. So, and you'll sell some more books, I would imagine, wouldn't you?
Oh, I hope so.
You would like them to win, wouldn't you?
Oh, it would help me a lot. Hopefully I'll get a second book out of it.
Yeah, that's true. Because you know quite a lot of these girls, because you did go behind the scenes for your book, didn't you? So I suppose you feel quite invested in some of the personalities because you know them.
It's so true. I think especially as a women's rugby journalist, and now I'm, as you said, I'm assistant sports editor of The Observer, but before I focus a lot on women's rugby, you get to know the players because they don't have loads of journalists. The media communications team are sort of more informal because they know you, they know what you're about. And that by no means is saying that we're cheerleaders for the women's game. We're journalists and we want to critique them as much as possible. But because we've had such great access to them, and you just end up having conversations with not just the players, but their parents, their partners at games, because often when I'm at PWR games, that's the Premiership Women's Rugby, there aren't that many fans there, so you start to see people and chat to them. And certainly I had an interesting moment yesterday where I posted on Instagram my preview of the game for The Observer, and it said in the piece that I thought Jess Breach's defending wasn't up to scratch, and Jess viewed my Instagram story, and I thought that's how close it is, where you're like, oh gosh, I'm never going to change what I write or what I think because of...
Did she get in touch?
Not yet. I'm waiting
if
for
she
it.
plays brilliantly and defends brilliantly
I know.
on Saturday,
you'll be getting it.
She may say, look, you know, she might have taken some inspiration from it. Who knows?
Yeah, yeah. But you're right about the relationships that you end up having with the players. You just become sort of really aware of that they're humans.
Yeah.
And I think in lots of sport, as sports journalists, you know, I cover all sports really. You don't get that closeness that you get in rugby. But just to say that doesn't mean that we go soft on them or go easy on them at all. Definitely doesn't. But when writing my book, I was in the camp with the Red Roses for weeks, and in the hotel, you know, and it ended up, you realise I'm a young woman and I'm around the same age as a lot of these players. And it meant that we could have conversations that were far more open. They were happy to talk to me about periods and training and playing rugby when you're on your period, breast health, all these issues, and Married at First Sight, because we'd all watched the episode the night before. And you don't get those sort of conversations unless you feel like you can join that group. And I've got a background playing rugby as well, so I could we have mutual friends who we've all played with and stuff like that. So definitely meant that getting access and getting players to open up is much easier.
Well, enjoy the game, Jess. Good to see you. Thanks for coming in.
Yeah, great to see you. Thank you.
Jessica Hayden's book, The Red Roses, Behind the Scenes with the England Women's Rugby Team, is still available. And so who knows, depending on what happens at the weekend, there may be volume 2 just around the corner. Still to come this afternoon, Ollie Phelps joins us of Harry Potter fame. He played in the kind of Pro-Am, the All-Star game yesterday. Before that, let's get into the golf proper over at Bethpage Black. Rupert Bell was watching for talkSPORT.
And it's got a good European feel about it because John Rahm and Tyrrell Hatton have just got back to all square. They lost the first hole of that match and it had been tight until the 7th hole. Justin Thomas missing a relatively short putt to halve the hole. So Rahm and Hatton are now all square. And, Scotty Scheffler was in tears after he lost 9 and 7 and Italy in a foursomes. Well, he's in danger of losing another one heavily here because Ludwig Eiberg, who inflicted that 9 and 7 defeat, playing on that day with Victor Hovland, but today it's Matt Fitzpatrick. They're 3 up after 6. And also 3 up are Rory McIlroy and Tommy Fleetwood against Morikawa and English. The only match that the European team are down in is the bottom one, and it is Xander Schauffele and Patrick Cantley currently flying the flag for the Americans. But encouraging at the moment with Europe up in 2 matches, both of those matches 3 up.
Ryder Cup update on talkSPORT with Arnold Clark. Get £750 off any used electric car or home charger.
Good afternoon, Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT. I've just pulled my earphones out so I can't hear a thing. They're back. The crisis over.
Mine is still
back with the Ryder Cup shortly. Out there watching it all unfold, and having played in the All-Star game yesterday was actor Oliver Phelps. Of course, you know him as George Weasley from the Harry Potter films. He's a old fellow Bunbury teammate of ours. Played a bit of cricket with him. But he joins us, a good golfer as well, Andy. You tell us.
Apparently, yeah.
Good afternoon, Ollie.
Hey guys, how are we doing today? Yeah, you're right, Andy. Apparently a good golfer.
That was a bit damning. That was apparently.
I've never actually seen you play. I've heard you're good, but
well, my first tee shot was about as good as some of my Bunbury batting performances, to be honest. It was a nice hook left, but it was such an incredible performance to be able to just to go and be part of it. You know.
Yeah, it must have been
very nerve-wracking, Ollie. I would have thought.
Oh yeah, so I've got so on my watch it was keeping my heartbeat, and it spiked at 161 on the first tee. Like, it was that like tens of thousands of people watching, but it was the crowd were really cool actually. I was expecting to get a bit of heckling, but even when I chunked a couple of shots, it was one of us. So they were really cool. Really cool.
Brooklyn Beckham was playing as well, and. We don't know how he played. According to the press here, he had a very poor round.
Yeah, but they have slightly got it in for him. So how did he do, Ollie?
I didn't see. He was about two groups in front of me, so I didn't see him much on the course. But I know he was trying to work some kinks out on the range, which we all were. But I think it's hard to put it into words, though, just how nerve-wracking it is to do it. But speaking to him afterwards, he seemed like a really, really nice guy.
Yeah, that's good. Some of the Americans, though, were getting stuck into your Potter co-actor Tom Felton, who played Draco Malfoy, of course. They were shouting spells at him, apparently.
Yeah, they were. They were getting after him. I think that's the difference when, like, he plays a bad guy and I play a good guy.
Yeah.
Some people still believe it's really real. So yeah, it was.
Don't tell them it's not real. Whatever you do, the checks will stop coming in.
I saw you popping up on, I think it was Amazon Prime, with Harry Potter Wizards of Baking.
Oh, nice.
So I thought you could do a golf
version.
That's
right, yeah.
Wizards of Putting.
Hopefully. We've actually finished filming the second season, which will be out a bit later in the year. So hopefully I'll come back and tell you all about that then when it's all out.
Does your brother, James, does he play as well?
He does, yeah, he does. But I got the call to do this, and I didn't wait around to see if they were going to ask anybody else. So I said yes at the chance. So I said to him, I'll go and buy him a ball marker from the shop around here to make up for him.
How did you finish up then?
So we came second in our match.
Oh wow!
Oh,
well done.
Yeah,
congratulations.
I think we peaked a bit early. We went 2 up through 5, and then it slowly went downhill a bit. But it was. As the later we got into the round, the more people were there. So I'd say when we were hitting into the 17th hole, which is a par 3 here, I'm not exaggerating, guys. There was about 15,000 people watching. It was insane.
Are you sticking around for the whole weekend?
I am, yeah. Yeah, I am. So I'm so excited to be here. We've got some really good seats on the first tee as well. We're at the front. And I want to say, it was like, in football terms, it would be like being in the away end at Fulham. Like, it was loud when there was something to shout about, but other than that, the atmosphere died off. So I'm expecting maybe a few more drinks in the crowd here. They'll get a bit more lively, but it was all the Europeans making the noise out there.
You're going to get a warm welcome when you go back to Fulham with Villa, aren't you? Definitely. So what's it like this morning? Have you been out and about on the course so far today?
Only to the first tee, and there's definitely an excitement in there. But looking at the board now, I mean, you can tell there's a bit of apprehension. Like in a couple of the USA a few of the players looked like they were obviously thinking a lot about it. Like Henley, especially when he came out, looked quite just taking it all in and maybe thinking about it. But that's the same though for their captain as well. Keegan Bradley was almost breathing and doing everything with the players. So we don't know. I mean, hopefully they'll think about it from a European point of view. We want this board to stay like it is. I mean, they're three matches up, 1 up, 3 up, and 4 up at the moment. So the standard of golf already is so good. I think we're in for a really, really special weekend.
And you didn't get a chance to watch Villa, I take it, yesterday?
No, which I wasn't expecting a goal. So it's nice that they finally got a goal, to be honest with you. So hopefully they've turned the performance around. Some friends of mine went to the game and they were saying it's nice to see them actually, getting a win in the Europa League, and hopefully we can do like your boys and win the competition this year.
Yeah, it's a great finish by McGinn. I'm right in the corner. Yeah. Keeper had no chance. A cracking hit. But well, Ollie, enjoy the rest of it, and thanks for joining us. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks.
Cheers. Can I say as well, good luck to the Red Roses tomorrow. If you see someone behind the first tee on the TV tomorrow wearing their England jersey, that'll be me. Representing the team tomorrow.
Nice one. We'll look out for you. Thanks a lot, Ollie. Cheers.
Thanks, Ollie.
Cool. Take care, guys. Bye.
Oliver Phelps there. George Weasley of Harry Potter fame. And when we used to play for the Bunburys, there'd be a lot of big celebrities and a lot of big cricketers. But generally, the people always wanted a picture with Ollie.
Yeah, they did.
There's a big crowd around him.
He was determined to do well just for the Bunbury. So
you time to get a bit of coaching and get some nets.
He went to Dougie Brown, the Warwickshire coach.
Dougie Brown features in the crossover snooker cricket names that people have been coming up with today. Someone's given us a Dougie Brown. I suppose it would make sense. Tony Bowles, that was quite good from Kelvin. Baseball is the way forward, surely, says... I've clicked the screen off now. Anyway, while we bring you the sports headlines, I'll get the technology working again, and we'll bring you some more of those. This is because Jimmy White's grandson is playing for Hampshire and England, and so Andy this afternoon wants your snooker-based cricketers. Yes, I'm sorry. TalkSport.com, text 81089, tweet TSH and J. We'll talk more Villa with Stan Collymore later on, and we'll have a Falls panel. I'll run through the games very, very shortly so you can get involved and give us your predictions.
Sports Update, powered by the Nissan Van Range. Helping business owners to work better and live better. Search Nissan Vans or head to your local Nissan Van Centre.
I'm Toby Gillis. Good afternoon. Things just swaying Europe's way at Bethpage Black as the foursomes continue at the Ryder Cup. John Rahm and Tyrrell Hatton were under pressure against Bryson DeChambeau and Justin Thomas, but have turned it around to go one up. Currently, Europe leading in 3, behind by 1 in match 4, though. Chauffolet and Cantlay leading McIntyre and Hovland. Now, are Spurs about to become the latest Premier League club to fall under American ownership?
The bid that's on the table, which has been indicated rather than formally put at this stage, is 3.3 billion up front, plus a 1.2 billion pot to spend on players.
The Sun's Martin Lipton says the consortium is led by a DJ turned tech entrepreneur called Brooklyn Eric and features 12 men, some of whom have ownership in the NFL and Major League Baseball. Enzo Maresca's back on a familiar topic, defending Robert Sanchez. He's banned for tomorrow's clash with old club Brighton after that red at Old Trafford last week.
Can happen, also because it's a quick decision. But as you said, we conceded probably 5 goals because of Robert's mistake. But how many goals we avoid because of Robert's save?
Can Man United make it back-to-back wins tomorrow? They're at Brentford at lunchtime. You can hear it live and exclusive on talkSPORT. And he's probably spent his career overshadowed by Iniesta and Xavi. But now the final member of Barcelona's famous midfield triumvirate, Sergio Busquets, is hanging up his boots too. He's at Inter Miami nowadays and will finish the season there before heading out to pasture. Loads more at talksport.com.
talkSPORT News.
Terror charges against kneecap rapper Liam O'Haney have been dropped, and the Prime Minister says people won't be able to work in the UK without a new digital ID card. More from the news team at past.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit. Buy 2 or more Bridgestone Turanza all-season 6 tyres and claim Bridgestone's massive 20,000 mileage guarantee. Visit quickfit.com and book today. Conditions apply.
Turning cloudy this afternoon, windy across Scotland, rain coming in from the west tonight.
Good afternoon, Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT. Stan Collymore joins us. We're going to be bringing you the Falls panel a little bit later, and I'll just get the Falls panel games from our producer.
Can I just say Sanchez isn't banned for tomorrow?
No, he isn't. No,
which is good because Jorgensen, I'm better on crosses than he is.
Yes, he didn't have his finest down, did he, against Lincoln the other night? But that was enough. That was suffice, that ban against Lincoln. So, yeah, Sanchez will be back. We're going to be having a chat with Brian.
When you're glad he's back.
Yeah. Brian Sherratt is going to join us. Donald Trump is going to be, not Donald's Trumps. That's a different story altogether. But Donald Trump, not the plumber, the President of the United States, is going to be at the Ryder Cup today. And he's also pretty front and centre around the World Cup in the USA, Canada and Mexico. And the latest is to start suggesting that some of the cities he think aren't safe, he'll pull the World Cup from.
I'm sure Infantino will stop all this political interference.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's not like he's
brilliant, isn't it?
Not caved on everything Donald Trump has said so far around the world. Let's have the draw in Washington. What a great idea.
Yeah.
Let's just tell Vegas it's off. Anyway, we'll be chatting to Brian about that. And the mascots have been revealed today for the World. It's 3 of them, one for each nation, and we'll run through those with Brian as well. What else we got for you? And all sorts of stuff, including the clips of the week to come. Andy, in the meantime, anything you want to talk about?
Yeah, what have I got here? Yeah, that was good. Did you see a woman claim to...
A woman? Did I see a woman?
No. A clairvoyant was interviewing Penn and Teller, the great magicians.
Oh, yeah, not the
on stage at the Palladium.
Yeah.
And claimed to have heard Bruce Forsyth, whose ashes are underneath the stage of the Palladium. You knew that, didn't you?
Yes, and no, it's at the side of the stage.
Is it? I thought
his ashes. I think his ashes are at the side of the
I thought it was
stage.
under. Whatever. Anyway, she
claimed to have heard Bruce Forsyth. Bruce Forsyth claimed to have heard.
She said, "I kept getting distracted by the words, 'nice to see you.'" Oh, of course you didn't. Penn and Teller claimed they couldn't hear anything.
Yeah.
She's brilliant, isn't it? Honestly,
If his ashes were underneath the stage, you could have said, "Let's have a look at the old floorboards," but they never got the opportunity.
Honestly,
our own Charlie Baker is playing the Palladium on Friday.
Oh, really?
He's supporting Jack D.
Yeah, I've trod the boards at the Palladium.
Have you really?
I have.
Blimey, what happened? In what?
It was in the days when I used to host these fashion forums,
and they had one at the
they had one at the Palladium, and it was very exciting being backstage there and then going onto the stage where so many famous, brilliant people had performed.
Yeah, and then you went.
And then I came on. It's tremendous, wasn't it?
To really lower the tone.
Talking of weird quotes, this is a very strange quote from Kate Moss, who claimed that she'd met.
Not Macclesfield boss Kate Moss.
Not Macclesfield boss. But she's talking about how she met, friendly with David Bowie, and she said, the last message I sent, this is like a letter from Brian Linford, this. Right. The last message I sent him was his birthday message. I sent him a film of me with a piece of paper saying, "Happy birthday, DB." I sat in a stool and sang Mr. Bojangles. It was delivered, and then he died. It was awful.
Well,
and I spoke to...
been that bad.
She said, I spoke to Noel Gallagher. He was the first person he called. I was like, "Noel," and he went, "I know." Strange.
Yeah.
I know, real weird. But I don't know why she rang him, but there we go. Don't know if they were particularly friends. Who knows? We'll never find out.
Too much information we can't glean until Noel's on
I've got a fabulous
drive again.
I've got a fabulous reader's offer for you. Well, I've got two actually today.
Okay, go on then.
The first one is for the tough full-grain waterproof leather boots.
They sound good.
Which are perfect for hiking in the country or walking to the shops. Yeah, they're boots.
Yeah, that's it.
It's brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah.
And because they had to come up with these claims. And this is one from Chums, who have come up with the...
Chums?
Yes, the trouser people.
Yeah.
We've developed this all-year-round chino with warm fleece lining throughout. Oh, yeah, that's what I want in a heat wave in August.
Going to wear them up the Amazon. Yeah.
How can they be all year round if they're fleece lined? I know these things...
Is it a removable fleece lining?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I do find these things quite disturbing.
Because of Jimmy White's grandson playing top-level cricket now, real prospect, Andy wants your snooker-based cricketers. Graham Dotball, says one of the listeners. John Ver goes for a 6 off the over. Matt Q Hoggard, Ricky Potting, says JJ, the jet plane. What else we got? Yeah, we gave you a baseball from Dave. Tony Bowles from Kelvin. Freddie Inoff, says Nick the Villa fan. Dominic Chalk, that's very good.
Yeah,
no
that's
name
good.
on that one. Jimmy Cricket Whites, says Andy in Newport. Jimmy White Ball Cricket gave Toby Gillies before he left. Bays Matweedy. We don't want footballers, do we?
But that's quite good, actually.
Yeah, but it's footballers. We don't want footballers. We don't want Jimmy Billiard as well, either, Mike, the postie in Exeter, because that's a football. It's got to be cricketers. You've got to stick to the rules.
Oh, yes.
Anyway, you can keep those coming. TalkSport.com, text 81089, tweet TSH and J 03717 223344. Now, we've got a fantastic prize to give away now in our Arnold Clark competition.
Yeah, good competition, this.
EV Lover on talkSPORT with Arnold Clark Charge. Ultra rapid EV charging at an ultra low price. Find out more at arnoldclark.com.
Thanks to Arnold Clark Charge, we've got an electrifying cash prize to give away today. We've also got a place in our grand final in Glasgow next month up for grabs, where one lucky winner will win a new MG S5 electric car. What a wonderful prize. Joining us now, randomly selected from all our online entries, here's Simon. Hello, Simon.
Hey, gents. How's it going?
Not so bad, Simon. So, yeah, cracking prize this. You're going to walk away, hopefully, with some money today, but possibly be part of that big final. But this is how it all works. You're going to have 60 seconds on the clock to answer as many questions about sporting speed and power as you can. For each correct answer, you'll earn yourself a point and £100. You're allowed to pass if you don't know the answer, but we can only accept your first response. If you're our top point scorer at the end of the week, along with the cash, you'll also win a place in our grand final in Glasgow next month, where you could win a new MG S5 electric car. Now, in the event you tie with our current top score of 6, Then we will welcome back Daniel, who scored 6 from yesterday's quiz, to answer one final question to decide the winner. So we need 5. I think we need. Is that right? Is it 6?
5 to tie, yeah.
5 to tie, that's right, yeah. Well, it says top score of 6 here, so that is a bit confusing. But anyway, I'll let the producer sort that. I'll just ask the questions. So, okay. Are we ready to get underway?
Yep.
Good man, Simon. Your time starts now. Elaine Thompson-Herah won the gold medal in the women's 100 metres at the Tokyo Olympics. Which country was she representing?
America.
No, Jamaica. Brazilian striker Adriano, renowned for his powerful left foot, won 4 Italian championships, 2 Italian
Inter
Cups.
Milan.
That's right. Sia Khaleesi led which country to victory in the last Rugby Union World Cup?
South Africa.
That's right. In F1, which city hosted the American Grand Prix in 2023?
Texas.
It's not a city. I need the city.
Austin.
Well done. Which legendary ice hockey player, nicknamed the Great One, combined incredible speed and agility in the NHL to hold the record? Wayne Gretzky, well done. James Hayter holds the record for fastest hat-trick scored in the EFL. Took 2 minutes and 20 seconds to score 3 goals. Which Welsh team did he score them for?
Cardiff.
Scored them against. It wasn't. It was Wrexham. Which powerful Irish rugby player is the Six Nations all-time top try scorer with 26 tries?
Ryan Nagara.
Brian O'Driscoll. Which team does legendary Spanish defender Sergio Ramos currently play for? You can answer this one. Who's he currently play for? To be quick. Got to be quick. 5, 4.
No.
No, it is Monterrey.
Make that
1,
4.
2, 3. It was 4. So 4 correct. But that is pretty good going. And and it is still pretty decent. It didn't quite make it through to the final, but £400 is all yours, Simon. So not a bad afternoon's work.
Amazing, thank you.
Well done. So that does mean that Daniel, who scored top marks yesterday, will be going through to the final. And congratulations to him. He's won the money. And what about that? Fantastic. Yes, congratulations to everybody. If you'd like to win some cash and think you can earn a spot in Glasgow's Grand Final, then tune in to Drive Show all next week and enter now at talksport.com/win. That's all thanks to Arnold Clark Charge, ultra rapid EV charging at just 55p per kilowatt hour. Find out more at arnoldclark.com.
EV Lover on talkSPORT with Arnold Clark Charge for your chance to win a new MGS5. Enter online now at talksport.com/win.
We've got the Falls panel coming up. Ollie Klink, our commentator, myself and Andy, and Stan Cottymore. The TalkSport listeners doing rather well this season. Brentford versus Manchester United, Tottenham v Wolves, Newcastle v Arsenal. All the games you'll hear on TalkSport. 03717 22 3344. Call us now. We'll call you back 2:45. 03717 22 3344. Let's check in once again with Rupert Bell at the Ryder Cup.
I'll tell you what, boys, this is an extraordinary scoreline in Europeans' favour, and it's probably leaving the partisan American crowd and probably not the scoreline that the incoming President Donald Trump is expecting to see to cheer his players along after they've forked out between $12 and $15 million on a security operation for him to come in, because currently McIlroy and Fleetwood are 5 up after 8 holes. Scotty Scheffler was in tears last time he played in foursomes. Well, he's going to probably be in tears again because his team are 4 down to Oiberg and a startling performance from Matt Fitzpatrick. And John Rahm and Tyrrell Hatton have turned their match around. They're 1 up against DeChambeau and Thomas. We're only 1 down in the other match as Xander Schauffele and Patrick Cantley with a hat are holding on to their 1-hole advantage. So at the moment, Europe up in 3. Fabulous start by the Europeans. They now just to keep it together to make sure they go ahead into the afternoon 4 balls.
Ryder Cup update on talkSPORT with Arnold Clark Charge. Ultra rapid EV charging at an ultra low price. Terms apply.
Paul Hawksbee, Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT. Now, they always say when a World Cup goes to a country, FIFA effectively take that country over and they call all the shots. Well, not in America, because we've already seen the influence President Trump has had on Gianni Infantino. He only had to say, why don't we have the opening ceremony already probably well down the planning route for Las Vegas?
I know.
Why don't we have that in Washington? And rather than say, that's kind of gone too far now, we can't do that.
Yeah, we've
just
organised it.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, we'll do it in Washington. So that's where they're doing it.
Tenet of FIFA is no political government interference. Why is Infantino going against? Why is he allowing Trump to do this?
Now the president has been saying he will move matches at the 2026 World Cup from any cities he thinks is unsafe. You've probably seen in some cities, including Washington, where he was very keen for the draw to be moving the troops in at times to police certain areas. Let's cross to the States now and catch up with US football expert Brian Chiretta. Hiya, Brian.
Hey, good afternoon, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, pleasure. This is an interesting one because, again, okay, you can fairly late notice you can move a draw. We'll give you that. What you can't really do is start stripping cities of World Cups. I mean, the level of planning. I don't know whether President Trump thinks they sort of knocked this up in an hour on the back of a fag packet. But all these cities have been World Cup cities for ages. So, I mean, this is even an empty threat. There's no way Infantino can cave on this, is there?
I don't think it's a serious threat. I think it's just a way to publicly embarrass some of these big city mayors that Trump has been feuding with really since he took over the presidency. You know, some of it's valid, some of it's not. You know, and you know, in terms of what his beef with these cities is. So I think it's you know, it's just a chance for him to get a microphone and embarrass them. I mean, look, Los Angeles is also going to host the Olympics 2 years after that. You know, so yeah, I don't think it's serious. I think it's just a way just to, you know, a very way to publicly embarrass some of these big city mayors in the United States.
Yeah, he's in a dispute with the mayor of Chicago, and you know, Chicago is a huge sporting town. Can you imagine if he said, "Oh, there's going to be no World Cup games played in Chicago"? I don't think that would play very well.
I don't think there are there?
Are there?
No, Chicago hasn't
really?
got games.
They pulled out a long time ago.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I beg your pardon. I'm surprised.
But there are
big sporting.
There's lots of big. I mean, there's Kansas City, LA, as Brian said, Miami, New York, New Jersey, Philly, San Francisco, Seattle, Boston, Atlanta, and Dallas, and Houston. So lots of big sporting cities that you know, will have games.
Yeah, look, I mean, these cities are all used to being able to host big games, soccer-related, American football, Super Bowls, you know, what have you, Olympics, you know. So it's just a way, you know, to you know, I mean, look at Chicago. They pulled out a long time ago because crime is out of control in Chicago and the finances are wrong. So there is legitimate issues with that, and some of those other cities do. Look, there's no games in New York City. They're being held right here where I am in New Jersey. So that's kind of a non-issue. You kind of see, if you live over here, what cities he's talking about. It's the California cities. You know, it's Philadelphia and DC. It's cities that, you know, every week, you know, he's fighting with the mayors about. So, you know, you just got to take it with a grain of salt. It's just a way just to kind of have everyone talking about like the problems of these cities and trying to spur these mayors to act on some legitimate problems that they do have the ability to fix but have not.
Yeah, I think Gianni Infantino will ultimately have to stand up to him and say, look, you know, this is not your remit. You can't do this. But as you say, look, we know, you know, he says stuff and then he moves on to the next thing. We all understand that. Now, maybe more importantly, the mascots are out, Brian. The mascots have been unveiled. And there are three, of course, because it's been played in 3 countries. We have got Clutch from the United States. He's an eagle, isn't he? A bald eagle.
And then you got Maple, I think, who's the Canadian one, and then you
he's
have a
moose.
Jaguar, who's
that's right.
Jaguar for Mexico. You know, look, I think it's I mean, it just shouldn't have taken him this much thought, but it's all logical, right? I mean, you know, it's like, you know, the bald eagle's the national symbol of the United States. A moose is very identifiable with Canada and Jaguar in Mexico. So, you know, I think they played it safe with these mascots. They look a little silly, and they're also trying to parlay it into some kind of a video game that they're coming out with next year too. So, you know, everything kind of checks the boxes. I think it's all fine. It wasn't anything too outlandish, like an alien or something. So, you know, I think it's all good.
Let me tell you something about Clutch, because he's your World Cup mascot, Brian. And I think there must have been some points when the people working in the FIFA press office sat there and thought, I didn't come into journalism to do this. Let me tell you something about Clutch. Clutch has an unquenchable thirst for adventure, soaring across the United States and embracing every culture, game and moment with boundless curiosity and optimism. And I'll tell you more. He's fearless on the pitch. He's fearless on the pitch, and he's uplifting off it. He leads by action. He rallies teammates. He's a bald eagle, by the way.
Yeah, it could be worse. It could have been.
What he predominantly does is eat mice. He doesn't do any of this. Rallying teammates, lifting spirits, and turning every challenge into an opportunity to rise higher. At this point, he shouts across the office, saying, I nearly got a Pulitzer once, you know. A social spark and sports fanatic, Clutch, like all great midfielders, plays in midfield.
Oh, fair
the bald eagle. Unites people wherever they go, Brian, proving that true flight is about purpose, passion, and play. So there we are. That
could have been worse. Could have been Kimmel the camel.
I mean, that sets the bar rather high.
It does.
I mean, when you read all that,
yeah. I don't know what Zayu the Jaguar is a striker from the jungles of southern Mexico.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Off the pitch, he embraces Mexican culture through dance, food, and tradition, which is good. he's more of an athlete. He is a symbol of cultural celebration and connection. Who reads this stuff? I mean, really, and takes it seriously.
If you're in the sort of FIFA store, it's quite a nice thing to buy you.
Oh yeah, no, they look
cute.
good. They're beautifully put together, and I'm sure they look great waving from the side. I don't know if you've got young kids, Brian, but when the kids are young, they love the old mascots, don't they?
Yeah, and look, I think a big thing of this is the video. They really stress the video game element of this, and that's a little bit beyond my pay grade here. But I keep it on the pitch and a little bit off of it, but not really like in video games. But I think if that's trying to relate to a younger generation that might be more inclined to play these games, but. Sounds all very positive and optimistic, so I can't really complain about it. But I think these are things that you and I will probably soon forget the minute after the World Cup ends, and we'll just remember the games.
Well, we have. I mean, there's some you remember. We had when we won the World Cup in 1966. We had World Cup Willie.
Oh yeah,
not an ailment, but a mascot, and he'll probably be part of this thing, FIFA Heroes, you're alluding to, Brian, which is an arcade-style, fast-paced five-a-side football title, which will feature World Cup mascots past and present. So
Ciao was one of my favourite.
Yeah.
The Italian 90 was...
Ciao, the Italian 90. But you can imagine World Cup Willie, like fairly agricultural tackling, I think we'll get from him, from somebody from 1960. He probably would have booted Pele out of that World Cup. But look, Brian...
I might have to go get into video games.
Yeah. It does sound good.
I might have to start.
It does sound good. I like the idea of this. So for now, Brian, thank you very much.
Thanks,
and
Brian.
I'm sure we'll keep chatting in the build-up to the World Cup. Thank you.
Anytime. Thanks, guys.
There we are. There's Brian Sherratt, their US football expert. Yeah, go and check out the mascots. They look very
I didn't realise Chicago wasn't... I should have known that.
No, they booted them out. Yeah. Well, not booted them out. They just kind of pulled out the thing.
Yeah.
But, I mean, look, it's going to be interesting to see what happens in the build-up.
Look, it's a World Cup. I'm sure it'll be, fun.
Yeah. Stan Collymore with us next. But first, we check in once again with Rupert Bell watching the foursomes. It's the opening salvo of this Ryder Cup, and I'm still seeing a lot of blue on the screen.
There is an awful lot of blue, and two matches have reached the turn, and the Europeans are 4 up in both of them. Ludwig Eiberg and an inspired Matt Fitzpatrick are 4 up against Scheffler and Henley, and Rory McIlroy and Tommy Fleetwood are 4 up against Morikawa and English. Now, the key match from an American perspective, and it's a bit like, as Ollie Phelps was saying earlier, library around the whole of Bethpage Black, because they can't believe what's happening. They need some inspiration from DeChambeau and Thomas, who are 1 down to Rahm and Hatton, and they've just missed a birdie chance to get back to level in that match. And Bob McIntyre and Victor Hovland, well, they've just got to all square as they parred the 8th hole, whereas Schauffele and Cantlay had problems on that hole. So at the moment, the scoreline is 3.5 to 1/2. A fantastic start at the moment from the Europeans.
Ryder Cup update on talkSPORT with Arnold Clark. Get the UK's best used car deals, guaranteed.
We are underway with the Ryder Cup in New York, with Europe looking to score a first away win since the miracle at Medina 13 years ago. It's foursomes and then four balls today, but that can be a challenge in itself. Chris Wood, the golfer, not the Nottingham Forest forward, played in the 2016 contest and says it can be tricky, especially if you're playing with a different ball.
You can go 3 or 4 holes in foursomes without hitting a putt, and then all of a sudden you've got a 10-footer for a half with a ball that you're not used to.
Yeah.
That's what I found quite challenging, with the feel of the ball and the speed of the greens and all that side of things.
Liverpool's new young defender Giovanni Leone will be out for about a year after tearing his ACL. Here's Arne Slot.
Being so young, coming to a new country, playing so well in your first game, it's very hard to take the positive side. No, there's never a positive side, but yeah, you always try to look at a positive side, and that is that he's still so young.
It's unbeaten Liverpool against unbeaten Crystal Palace in the Premier League tomorrow. Rio Ferdinand's told talkSPORT Man United are improving. No, seriously.
I'm not driven and sticking to data, but a lot of the data does tell you that Man United are getting into the right positions, they're doing the right things. And the hardest thing to do in the game is to put the ball in the back of the net. And that's where Man United are falling down.
United go to Brentford, exclusively live on talkSPORT tomorrow lunchtime. Falls panel coming up shortly. We look at 3 big games you'll hear on talkSPORT this weekend. We have our panel beater, so thanks to everybody who got in touch. They'll take us and Ollie Klink on, as well as our guest now, who's got other matters to deal with before the predictions. It is, of course, former Liverpool and Villa striker Stan Collymore. Hi, Stan.
Paul, Andy, how are you both?
Not too bad, thank you. We've mailed a copy of Guillaume Balagay's book up to you as well, so that should
like it, Stan.
That should be turning up.
I know he's doing a bit of a tour, isn't he? I know Ian Taylor and Stillian Petrov are doing a on-stage thing with him, so it'd be very interesting to read that.
Yeah,
it's weighty.
It is weighty. That certainly is.
Is it a hefty read?
It is.
Hefty.
It is. But
that's interesting.
You'll enjoy it. We'll come on.
I'll just very briefly say, I've just about got over. I know it's Friday, joining you on a Friday. I've just got over the dressing down from Andy last week about Raheem Sterling. So, it's taken me a week.
Sorry, his feelings are easily hurt.
I got off and I genuinely went to the gym straight after, and I genuinely felt like a scolded 11-year-old kid.
Did you
love it.
You get on the punch bag, imagining Andy's face.
I didn't. I just got on the treadmill. I was all demure and kind of just get on with it, Colin. You've been told.
It just drives me mad.
So
there you go. Do you see that? Even though Chelsea got 4 centre halves missing, Maresca said, no, I'm not picking Disasi.
Yeah, wow.
He's got to be great.
Delap's missing, Palmer's missing, Madueke, now at Arsenal, but played in the
Tosin, Colwell, Badashir, Lavia.
Yeah, but did they all play in the Club World Cup?
In the Club World Cup. All got injured out.
City have got Marmoush, Cherki, Aitnouri, Kuzanov. That's a lot of players from the Club World Cup.
PSG, Doué and Dembele.
Yes, I've just literally at AFP just broke about 46 minutes ago. Marquinhos has joined the growing list of big-name absentees for PSG after suffering a thigh issue. Latest injury blow for Luis Enrique's side comes in the wake of injuries to stars João Neves, Desiree Doué, as well as recent Ballon d'Or winner Ousmane Dembele. This is the issue. I genuinely, you two have got, your clubs have got horses in the Champions League. You both pay a lot of money, I would imagine, for your tickets and to go and support your club. with the greatest respect to American supporters or supporters anywhere else that the Club World Cup is going to be, and we can all pretty much guess the countries, it's going to be bounced between probably the States and the Middle East in perpetuity. If I'm a Chelsea fan or a Spurs fan or a PSG fan going week in and week out to pay lots of money to watch these players at their very best, the fact that the clocks haven't even gone back and we're missing in Dembele, the Ballon d'Or winner, in Cole Palmer, arguably England's best player, I think we really do have to get to a situation there whereby players via the PFA, the Premier League and the FA need to say enough's enough. It's not fair on season ticket holders at clubs that go and watch these guys week in and week out to have them missing for 4, 6, 8 weeks in September. We're not talking March, April, May, where you can naturally get knees, ankles, hamstrings. We haven't got out of September yet.
Yeah,
Crazy.
and it puts a strain on the other players. You had this at Spurs.
Yeah, that's right.
The players who aren't injured have to play too much, and so the frustrating thing is at the end of the Club World Cup when Chelsea beat PSG and played so well. I was really looking forward to this season. I thought, blimey, they're going to. It's basically a write-off the season now. I'm sorry, but it's
early.
No,
and that's the thing, Andy.
It is.
They
haven't played anybody yet. Can you see them getting anything against Liverpool next week? I can't.
I was asked very early on in the season to give my Premier League predictions, and one of the only reasons I didn't have Chelsea, because obviously after winning the Club World Cup, we live in the moment right now, and everybody's like, well, they've got to be one of the favourites. They're world champions. They've got a great squad, and one of the things I prefaced the column with was like, how are they going to do? How are a lot of the players what are they going to be like come March, April and May? I was thinking genuinely that far ahead in terms of fatigue, not September.
No.
And you look at PSG and it's like, you think to yourself, well, hopefully somebody like Infantino would actually obviously listen to the evidence that's presented to him about how many players that have played in the Club World Cup have got muscle injuries in particular. But it's not a great look, is it? If the guy that wins the Ballon d'Or, the de facto world's best player, that he's injured as well. So, and we've still got things like a 64 country World Cup, an expanded World Cup next summer in the United States. When's it going to get to a point where people are sat around a table, have a proper conversation, players say, yes, we can play 50, 60 games a season, no problem. Beyond that, we start to redline, particularly the way that the game is played these days, rather than this kind of like, greed is good. Let's just get them to play 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 games. Because, like I say, if I was a Chelsea or a Spurs fan or a PSG fan at the moment, or a Manchester City fan, they've obviously had injury problems, I'd be thinking to myself, it's great, it's all well and good to be involved in a Club World Cup in the summertime in the States. But the reality is I pay my money to go and watch league football every week, home and away, and to not see a good chunk of my players performing for what I pay, I'm not getting bang for my buck. And like Andy says, it then has a domino effect on the squad generally.
I don't have any faith in Gianni Infantino putting player welfare over a tournament that's that he sees as his legacy, that it would appear that he has kind of prioritised and pushed very hard. So... who knows? FIFPro can only do so much. The players' unions can only do so much.
Jamie Carragher completely denigrates the tournament, but next time when Liverpool win it and they'll win it, he'll be going mad. How important it is, honestly.
Well, if you're picking up injuries like this, some teams will think about whether they go full strength or not. Andy said earlier on he watched a fair bit of the Villa game last night and was quite shocked at how far Morgan Rogers was off it. And... he is struggling, isn't he, at the minute?
Yeah, I mean, what I would say to Villa fans is back off him. I did a Villa space the other night, just jumped onto X because it was kind of after the news of Monchi leaving. And I thought, is this the beginning of the end? Is Unai going to go? What's going to happen? They've rectified the situation with a new head of recruitment, if you like, football operations. But in Morgan Rogers... And I watch a lot of football. I've watched thousands and thousands of football matches over the last 10, 15 years. And Morgan Rogers coming from Middlesbrough, where the standard is undoubtedly lower. He came into an Aston Villa team, picked the ball up on the halfway line, would turn with it, run past people, go past 2 or 3 players and create things and weigh in with goals. His ability is 9 out of 10. He can go on and be whatever he wants to be as a footballer, both athletically and technically. He's a very good kid as well. He's no bother. He's no issue. He's like a lot of modern players. He gets his head down, does the work, plays well. Obviously gets Young Player of the Year. And I don't know whether agents have been in his head and people have said, oh, Manchester City are interested, or Arsenal are interested, or Liverpool are interested. I don't think it is. I've seen him play last night. I think he gave the ball away 30 times. And a lot of younger Villa fans need to remember that this is a young kid that's come into a team that was doing very well last season and everybody's struggling. Ollie Watkins, a senior international footballer, misses a penalty. He can't buy a goal at the minute. What I would say to Villa fans from a former Villa player's perspective that had a bad time at the club that I played for, Aston Villa, lay off him. He needs support. He needs people saying how good he is. He needs Unai Emery having belief in him, which he will do at Bodymore Heath, the training ground. But Villa fans, back him. If you can't back him, don't ironically cheer when he completes a pass. I thought that was disgraceful yesterday. There was a few sort of ironic cheers when he completed a pass. No professional footballer that played as well as he did last year, that's got the ability that he has, that did as much that he did to help Villa get success last season, willingly misplaces a pass. So I'd say step back from your criticism. If you've got nothing good to say at Villa Park about him, don't say anything. Let Unai do the job with him and let's get him back to where he's best. But this happens all too often with younger players. Yeah. They have a great first season. Fatigue, mental and physical, is real. He played real high-octane games in the Premier League and the Champions League. He's having a drop-off. Let's help him get back to where he needs to be with Aston Villa. Let's not barrack him.
That's Stan Collymore, the former Villa striker, and he's going to stick around for the Falls panel. Brentford, Manchester United, Tottenham, Wolves, and Newcastle, Arsenal. You'll hear all that all unfold on game day with Sam and the gang on Sunday. But before that, let's head back to Beth Page in the Ryder Cup and an update from Rupert Bell.
Well, we've just seen John Rahm and Tyrrell Hatton go 2 up against Bryson DeChambeau and Justin Thomas. They were 1 down after the first hole, but they've recovered magnificently, and they've now just holed a big putt on the 12th to get to 2 up. Meanwhile, Scotty Scheffler is currently, having played 16 holes of foursome, if you include the last Ryder Cup, is currently the world number 1, 12 down, because his team are currently 4 down to Ludwig Eiberg and an inspired Matt Fitzpatrick, and that's after 11 holes. Rory McIlroy and Tommy Fleetwood are still 4 up. The one bit of a bright note from an American perspective is in the bottom match, as Xander Schauffele and Patrick Cantlay have just gone 1 up with a birdie at the 8th hole, as I say, to go to 1 up. But at the moment, a very encouraging leaderboard for the Europeans, with now John Rahm and Tyrrell Hatton extending their lead against the fearsome combination of DeChambeau and Thomas.
Ryder Cup update on talkSPORT with Arnold Clark. Get £750 off any used electric car or home charger.
It's time for the Falls Panel, that point of the show where we look at 3 big games this weekend, 2 of which you'll hear exclusively live on talkSPORT, and try and predict the scores. We'll get 3 points for a dead hit. We will get 1 point for getting the outcome right, nothing for getting it wrong. These are the standings. 2 points last week for Andy Jacobs, who's gone to the bottom of the table.
Yeah, I've got a lot of injuries.
Yeah, that's it. I think, look, once you get the boys back, once they're back out on the grass, you'll be all right. We had an Arsenal fan last week, Gordon. He got 1 point. He's on 10, or they're on 10.
Brackets, Gordon Arse.
Gordon Arse.
We know what he means.
No need for that. I think that's what it means. It must mean he was an Arsenal fan. I got 4 points, so I'm solidly mid-table on 11. Stan Collymore got 5 points. He was the star performer of the week. He's on 12 points. But still the commentators who stunk the place out last year, who are suddenly top of the league. They're on 13. They got 4 last week. It was Jim, wasn't it? Jim Proudfoot. So Ollie Klink represents them today. Good afternoon, Ollie.
Good afternoon. It was actually me last week.
Oh, sorry about that.
I just want my flowers. Yeah,
it's like, give him some credit.
Time comes at you so quickly. So you've taken them to the top of the league.
I was saved by Martinelli. That got me a perfect score.
Right.
No,
Brilliant. Let's say hello to Dave, the Arsenal fan. Hello, Dave.
Good afternoon, gents. How's everyone?
How are you feeling about a trip to Ollie Klink's Newcastle? Confident?
I am dreading it. Yeah, I am. Yeah. It will feel like a bit of a cup game just because the atmosphere up there, and we do have a habit of getting a little bit rattled. So,
I'm sure Arteta will go for it.
Oh, well, Odegaard's back. They've been saying. I saw some team news, and Saka's come from his 60 minutes all right, so there is some good team news. Anyway, let's crack on. And Ollie's going to kick us off because we kick off with Brentford versus Manchester United tomorrow lunchtime. Ollie, how do you see it?
I'm not sure you can read too much into Manchester United's performance against Chelsea. It was a bizarre game. Brentford haven't started that well, but I'm going to go with 1-1.
1-1, OK. Stan, how do you see this one?
A couple of stats. Brentford have won 2 of the last 3 home Premier League games against Manchester United and drew the other one, so their record is very good. It just goes to show the difference between both teams, the perceptions of both teams, that they're both OK. But Manchester United are winless in their last 7 away Premier League matches, but they've also had the most shots in the Premier League season, almost double the Brentford. 81 shots from Man United, Brentford with the fewest, 41. I'm going to go for a tepid 1-1.
A 1-1, OK. I have gone for a United win. I don't quite know why. Probably defying logic. I just think, look, they're due one. No more science than that. And if you're Lamans, you don't want to be thrown into your first game there, do you?
No.
With long throws from all angles. And I think you definitely want to be playing Harry Maguire.
They've got 4 people who can chuck the ball in.
So you don't want to make your debut at Brentford. We'll see what happens. But I just think Cunha, Bremo, Sesko, they'll find a way. 2-1 Manchester United. Dave, the Arsenal fan.
Yeah, you read my mind there. I'm saying I think Brentford is a lot of trouble this. I think we'll get one of those breaking through last minute Man United goals. I'm also going to 1.
OK, maybe the Fernandes penalty. That's often rocks up, doesn't it? Andy, what say you?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't really impressed with United last week. They started well, but, the second half was 1-0 to Chelsea when it was 10 versus 10. When we're going back to Brentford, I think I get a good reception because he did brilliantly for the club. I'm also going to go 1-1, I'm afraid.
Okay, a lot of draws there. talkSPORT listeners home in the car. And the tractor, Cowpack, Chris. 12:30 tomorrow, that one. 8 o'clock at the Lane, Tottenham versus Wolverhampton Wanderers. Ollie.
Well, Wolves did well in midweek, didn't they? Managed to get a win, but I just think Tottenham are going to have too much for them. And actually, Tottenham have started pretty well at the back as well. I mean, I know, obviously,
last week Van der Ven and Romero.
Yeah. With a sensible manager.
Yeah.
so it's looking fairly good. So I'm going to go 3-0 for your Spurs.
Wow, 3-0. That's live on talkSPORT tomorrow evening, by the way. Stan?
Paul, does this come under the bogey team? Wolves recent record against Spurs?
Yeah, that's true.
They have been a little bit in the past, certainly. So there is an eye to that, Stan. That's true.
There is. Tottenham Hotspur have lost 4 of their last 5 league games with Wolverhampton Wanderers since a 1-0 victory in August 2022, conceding 2+ goals in each of their last 4.
Yeah.
I watched the Wolves-Leeds game last week, and Wolves actually were very good, but they're quite naive defensively, particularly with balls over the top. Straightforward Tottenham win. Tottenham 2, Wolves 0.
Okay, a bit of team news out of Spurs is that there's still no Dom Solanke, and Colin Mawani's dead leg is dragging on. This is a man, Danny Kelly tells me, who's barely been injured in his career since he was about 6. And he comes to Spurs and he's in the sick bay already. I do think they'll have enough. I was impressed with Brennan Johnson the other night, played very well. As did Archie Gray. I'll go 3-1 Spurs. Dave, the Arsenal fan, you're going to go 5-0 Wolves, are you?
I wish. That's what I wish. I'm going with my mind at the moment.
Okay.
I think I love Thomas Frank. I think he's done brilliantly for them. Through gritted teeth saying this, I think Spurs are just going to make a statement tomorrow. I'm going to go 4-1.
4-1 Spurs. Wow, okay. Blimey. Andy?
Yeah, 2-0 to a very routine Tottenham win here at Wolves.
Okay. I think Wolves are better than their results.
They're better than West Ham, that's for sure.
Yeah, and it's going to come right. And Mr. Tottenham, as we always say, the consultant, no longer a doctor, a consultant, Mr. Tottenham, may well accommodate them. We'll see. It's live on talkSPORT tomorrow night. You have your guests. talkSPORT listeners home in the car. Very good. Next up, then, we'll keep you in touch with this one. Newcastle Arsenal in game day, live with Sam McNaface, Perry Groves, and Mickey Gray. Ollie, your team, of course, Newcastle. What do you reckon against the Goons?
Well, it feels to me, if I was going with my head, that this will be 0-0 because 2 good defences. Newcastle can't seem to score any goals. But I'm going to go with my heart, go 1-0 Newcastle, mainly because I'd love to see it be a really controversial goal and see another Arteta meltdown. That would be fantastic, to be honest. So I'll go 1-0 Newcastle.
Obviously, you've got Champions League next week, haven't you? So have they, of course. But Stan, what do you reckon?
Yeah, I think that Liverpool will be the big winners out of this. I think that Arsenal drop more points. No Vissa, of course, injured. No Madueke. But Bukayo Saka's back. And crucially for Newcastle United, looks as if Anthony Gordon's back after his 3-game suspension. And I think that with Saka and Gordon on the pitch, chances will be created. Having said that, Arsenal haven't scored at St James's Park in their last 3 visits. I'm going to throw all of that out the window. I'm going for entertaining Desmond. Newcastle 2, Arsenal 2.
2-2. I tend to agree. I think it's going to be a draw as well, but I don't see that many goals. I've gone for just a straight 1 each. Dave, the Arsenal fan, what do you reckon?
Yeah, very much. I think Madueke being out, massive loss to Arsenal. I don't think we'll be saying that at the start of the season, but I think we've proven it. I think we're gonna struggle going forward, but I think we'll get to 1-1 and we'll put 11 behind the ball.
Okay. I'm got a bit Norman Collier, but we got 1-1, and finally Andy.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about Madueke compared to Saka, Saka's got more end product.
Yeah.
Madueke drives to the blind.
He does, but
he often doesn't get complete.
And Saka's getting more minutes in his legs. He'll be fine.
I just think that Arsenal are strong, and I think they'll somehow find a way. And it's not going to be a lot of goals. I'm going 1-0 to the Arsenal.
1-0 to the Arsenal. Okay, familiar.
Sorry, Ollie.
Friend.
That's right. No worries.
TalkSport listeners home in the car.
You're bottom of the table, Andy,
Exactly.
so I'll take that.
Yeah.
Oh, aye.
No, he's absolutely right.
Trash talk, is it? Thank you, Ollie. Thank you very much for popping in.
No
and you're doing rather well at this, so don't come back, eh?
He's had a lovely day out.
Yeah, lovely. Have you enjoyed yourself? Thank you. Thank you, Dave. All the best.
Cheers, guys.
Thanks, Dave.
And thank you, Stan. We will catch up with you next week.
Up the Villa.
There we are. Stan Collymore there. Thanks to him. There's the Falls panel. Tom Macklin will join us in the next hour. Got some interesting stories. We were talking early on about worrying comments from people at the top in football. Roger Goodell, the commissioner of the NFL, had something quite interesting to say. So we'll run that past you a little bit later on. Let's check in very quickly with Rupert Bell at the Ryder Cup.
Well, Ludwig and Matt Fitzpatrick seem to be closing in on the first point for the European team because they are remarkably 5 up against the world number Scotty Scheffler and a hapless Russell Henley because they've just got another hole in the bag at the 12th. 6 holes to play, 5 up, so looking good there. Looking good for Rory McIlroy and Tommy Fleetwood. They're 4 up, and that's after 11 holes. And Tyrrell Hatton's monster putt at the 12th has ensured his team have gone 2 up against Bryson DeChambeau and Justin Thomas. Xander Schauffele and Patrick Cantley. The one bright spark for the Americans at the moment. They're 1 up, and that's after 9 holes.
Ryder Cup update on talkSPORT with Arnold Clark Charge. Ultra rapid EV charging at an ultra low price. Terms apply.
Good afternoon, I'm Toby Gillis. All four foursomes are past the midway marks at Bethpage Black, and Europe have made a very solid start. They lead in 3, and only Robert McIntyre and Victor Hovland find themselves with a deficit at the moment against Xander Schauffele and Patrick Cantlay. But there is time to rescue that. The Americans are 1 up through 10. ENIC, the company behind Spurs, say the club is not for sale. Amid reports an American consortium is lining up a £4.5 billion offer. The group is said to contain 12 men, led by a DJ turned tech entrepreneur. The Sun's Martin Lipton broke the story.
Forbes, the business magazine, values Spurs at 2.6 billion, so 3.3 is a 27% uptick on that. Suggests to me that there's going to be significant interest in listening to this bid properly if and when it's formally made.
There are calls for football at all levels to rethink what surrounds a pitch after the death of former Arsenal player Billy Vigor, who collided with a brick wall while playing for Chichester City. Mikel Arteta has been paying tribute to him today, saying his thoughts are with the family and loved ones. It'll be the first time he's faced Kyle Walker since he left. Now Pep Guardiola has warned his Man City players they're up against an all-timer tomorrow.
One of the greatest fullbacks ever, yeah. When you had to control that side, when you control that side with the wingers, and when he was focused, oh my God. I slept like a baby before the games.
City host Burnley at 3 after Man United have been at Brentford at lunchtime. A game you can hear exclusively live here on talkSPORT.
talkSPORT News.
Terror charges against kneecap rapper Liam O'Haney have been dropped, and Paul Gallagher, the older brother of Oasis stars Liam and Noel, has denied rape and other charges. More from the news team at past.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit. Today it's raining tyres in our centres, including top-notch brands like Pirelli. Visit your local centre or quickfit.com and book today.
Rain from the west tonight, cloudy and very windy in the north.
Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT, and coming up, Tom Macklin joins us with some weird and wonderful stories from the world of American sport. Of course, one of the Kelsey brothers features. He kind of, I think we get fined unless we have at least one of them in there every week, but it's quite a good story. It's the one that's not getting married. And also we'll have some clips of the week for you, and we'll hear from the gaffers ahead of the weekend's big games, many of which, of course, you'll hear on talkSPORT, and we'll keep you in touch with the Ryder Cup, where it's going rather well for Europe currently. But now it's time, or it will be very shortly, for our bet builder. Let's tell you first, though, about a great new free-to-play NFL game from Paddy Power.
Paddy Power on talkSPORT. Check out Paddy's latest offers on the Paddy Power app or at paddypower.com. 18 plus, begambleaware.org.
Yep, this NFL game on the Paddy Power app and website, paddypower.com. Showdown, it's called. You can win a stack of cash by answering all the yes-no questions about the week's selected NFL game. If you select the correct answers across all the questions, you will win or share the jackpot. The entry closing time will always be prior to the start of the game, and all selections must be made before it starts. One entry per game per person. Open to new and existing Paddy Power customers. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply, and you can visit paddypower.com for details. Excuse me. We've got an historic game happening on Sunday between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Minnesota Vikings, because it's taking place in Dublin at Croke Park. There's a lot of excitement for it, for this regular season game. There's been exhibition matches in the past, but I think this is the first time they've had one in Ireland. Ben Steele from Paddy Power joins us. Hi, Ben.
Hi, how you getting on?
Yeah, good, thanks. There is a lot of excitement. I've been reading a lot about them. Fans have felt they wanted their chance to see a proper match-up, and it's going to be a packed house, isn't it?
Yeah. Look, obviously the Irish fans would have to be flying over to London up until this year if they wanted to see a game in live in the stadium. There were games at Wembley and Spurs, obviously. And Paddy Power, we're absolutely delighted that we're the official betting partner of the NFL in the UK and Ireland. We've got a whole load of stuff to hopefully enhance the experience for those who are going to the game at Croke Park on Sunday.
Now, Andy knows his NFL, but I don't a great deal, so I've taken a bit of guidance from people, and they tell me that Jordan Mason anytime touchdown is a very good bet.
It is, yeah. He's the favourite in the market to score. He's the running back for the Minnesota Vikings. He joined in the summer from San Francisco. He's started life pretty well. Last week he had his best game in a Minnesota shirt. He got 116 rushing yards and scored twice. So he only needs to get the one for that to be a winning pick from you today.
Andy?
Yeah, I picked this up from a betting site. I have no idea really. DK Metcalf to score the first touchdown. It looked good.
Yeah. Look, he's another one who moved in the summer. He moved from Seattle to the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's also settling in nicely. To be fair to him, he's scored in each of his last two, and he's 7-1 to score the first touchdown of the game, which is comfortably the biggest price of the picks we've got in this bet builder. But it's a nice little pick, I think.
Producer Georgia is the big NFL expert on this show. And she has gone with Aaron Rodgers to throw above 200 yards.
It's been fascinating watching him play for Pittsburgh.
Yeah, she has. Yes, the line has moved ever so slightly since she brought that pick in. It's actually over 202 yards now.
Right, okay.
So it's gone up ever so slightly, but that's still. I don't think 2 yards will be too much of a difference. He's used to play for Green Bay Packers, who are a division rival of Minnesota, so he's very used to playing the Vikings. Played them 30 times, and I was looking it up earlier. He actually averages 246 passing yards a game in his career against them, so 202 should hopefully be no trouble at all.
One of the more popular bets you have, Justin Jefferson over 76.5 receiving yards. That's the people's pick.
It is, yeah, and I think that's understandable. He's arguably the biggest star on show. Aaron Rodgers might have something to say about that himself, but he's in the conversation for the best receiver in the league, and he's comfortably Minnesota's biggest threat on offense. He actually holds an NFL record for the average number of receiving yards per game at 96.5, so 76.5, regardless of who's playing quarterback for Minnesota. I know there's a bit of conversation about who's going to be taking that role, or whether it be Carson Wentz or JJ McCarthy, but whichever guy's lining up under center, I'd imagine they'll be looking for Jefferson pretty regularly. So 76.5 yards is 5 to 6 for Jefferson to be over that line.
And what have you gone for, Ben?
I'm back in Minnesota to get the win by 3 or more points and cover the point spread there. They're a perfect 4 from 4 in games outside the US, including a 34-27 win over the Pittsburgh Steelers. But that was back in 2013, so I'm not sure there's even anybody who was involved in both games. These games often seem to come down to which team adapts to the different schedule best. So I'd say Minnesota are kind of used to this sort of thing, clearly, with their perfect record so far.
So what are we looking at across the board then if it all comes off?
Oh, well, look, it's a big old price with Andy's 7-1 pick in there. 108-1 is the total pick there. So we'll place a £10 bet builder on that. If it wins, we'll be donating £1,090 to the Attitude Foundation. Do a lot of great work across the country, helping LGBTQ community.
Well, we've only ever won once in the football betting, so you never know this. We don't know anything about it.
Wouldn't that be great? We could make up for it. Attitude Foundation would be delighted. They want to do NFL every week. Thank you.
Well, there's a few more games over. There's a game in London which Minnesota are in again, so there's always an option there.
Yeah.
And look, I'm sorry that we don't have a Kelsey in this one for you, but we can sort of rectify that in future, I'm sure.
They're coming up shortly. Thank you very much, Ben. Enjoy the game.
No worries. You too. Have a good one.
That's Paddy Power's bet builder for today. Minimum odds 1 to 5 per leg. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
Paddy Power on talkSPORT. Check out Paddy's latest offers on the Paddy Power app or at paddypower.com. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
Still plenty of blue on that scoreboard for Europe in the foursomes. Let's check in once again with Rupert Bell.
Yeah, John Rahm and Tyrrell Hatton holding off the challenge of Bryson DeChambeau and Justin Thomas with a good birdie on the 14th after Bryson DeChambeau had held his birdie. So this pairing are 3 up with 4 to play. Looking good at 4 up is Ludwig Eiberg and Matt Fitzpatrick, although Scheffler and Henley have just got 1 back, but there are 5 holes to play there. 5 up, closing in on maybe the first point. It's Fleetwood Mac, because Rory McIlroy and Tommy Fleetwood 5 up against Colin Morikawa and Harris English. For the very subdued American crowd, I have to say Xander Schauffele and Patrick Cantlay, the only bright spot for the Americans, because they're 2 up against McIntyre and Hovland. But at the moment, it's looking very good for Europe in the opening foursome session.
Ryder Cup update on talkSPORT with Arnold Clark. Get the UK's best used car deals, guaranteed.
Time to talk American sports with Todd Macklin. Good afternoon, Todd.
Hi, boys.
We've just been chatting about the Vikings and the Steelers over at Croke Park. There was a game last night, Todd. Seahawks beat the Cardinals 23-20, but it was a bit nervy. They were well in front, like twice in the game, and nearly blew it, didn't they? There was a bit of a Cardinals fight back.
Absolutely was, yeah. Seahawks led by, 2 touchdowns with under 6 minutes left. At that point in the game, the Cardinals had only scored 6 points, but they scored 2 touchdowns in that last 6 minutes, and Seattle had to drive down the field and kick a 52-yard field goal with no time left to win the game. And it was a game that they just looked completely in hand. That would have been one, if they had lost it, that really could have negatively have affected their season, but they got the win, and now they're 3-1.
Now, Todd, the other thing was Roger Goodell, the NFL commissioner, was chatting this week. And we have, as you know, having spent a lot of time here working in sport, we have crown jewels. There are certain sports that have to be on terrestrial TV, free to our TV for everybody to watch, certain events. But Roger Goodell didn't rule out the possibility that the Super Bowl one day could be on a streaming platform. They're getting more and more involved, obviously,
Yeah, they'll
in
charge
sport.
people about 30 quid a throw to watch it.
So he
I'm
said,
so sick of these greedy custodians.
well, they did say it's certainly a possibility. Who knows what could happen in the future? I mean, don't you think he maybe should shut that down? Because I imagine if anything is a crown jewel in American sport, it would be the Super Bowl.
Absolutely, but we don't have that crown jewels kind of rule here in North America. And I would say that research has kind of shown that people are cutting the cable, and less people every year, every day, actually every day, are watching on cable, and more are streaming. So I just think he is just going along with what the data shows, that at some point you're going to have, and listen, I've seen different things that say more people are streaming than watching on cable. And I just think he's reflecting what that data is saying, that at some point, and listen, it may be 5 years, 10 years from now. To me, that's more of an accurate timeline, that we could see it just on a streaming service.
Yeah, but it's one thing to be streaming when you just pay your normal subscription.
Yeah, if it's pay-per-view.
It's nothing if they start making it pay-per-view. I think
it'll be interesting. Now, we've talked a lot about Philly's Karen. This was the baseball fan who rushed up to a dad who grabbed the ball that he wanted to give to his son and insisted that he hand it to her because it was her ball, and she's become quite notorious. And we've talked a lot about adults grabbing the ball off of kids. We've even seen it in tennis recently. Now, the Mariners' very own Cal Raleigh, history-making 60th home run ball that he whacked into the crowd. It also won the American League West title for Seattle Mariners. So it was a big coveted ball. A guy caught it, man caught it in the crowd, and rather than doing a Philly's Karen type thing, immediately gave it to a kid. So that was a nice touch. But he was rewarded for his trouble, the guy, wasn't he? I think the kid was rewarded because I think he handed it back to the player. But the guy was rewarded as well for his decency.
Absolutely. And we had two great moments. As you say, the guy who got the ball to Gate and then gave it to the kid, amazing moment, right? Like just terrific. So unselfish. But then the kid could have sold it, right? Could have held on to it and sold it too. And he didn't. He said, like his dad said, that the kid looked at him and just said, hey, this ball belongs to Cal Raleigh. Like, he should have the ball. So you had two moments by fans giving up something that would be worth, probably hundreds of thousands of dollars and maybe more, right? Depending on what happened with this season with the Mariners. So, yeah, they both got bats and balls, and they got to meet Cal Raleigh as well. But, yeah, I think the gesture by both people has really stood out in just with the way things happen in today's kind of, getting souvenir balls.
And
I think people will start thinking about grabbing these balls now. The woman's taken such a lot of stick.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, maybe it's a bit of a backlash. Maybe the guy wouldn't have been so ready to give it to a kid had we not had Philly's Karen. So the other thing in the world of baseball, Tom, is the rather boring-sounding ABS challenge system. It's much better when people call them robot umps. But we've talked about them before because they've been trialling them, and they've decided from next season the robot umpire will come in. But it will be a challenge system. It's not going to completely VAR it.
I think the players have had enough of it. There was one incident, I think it was this week, Todd will correct me, but umpire ruled against a player at the plate and against the pitcher, and the pitcher deliberately threw the ball at the umpire, hit him right in the chest.
Oh, really? I've seen him. Wow, blimey. It's not good. Yeah, so they have been trialling this, and it obviously is working. But I mean, it's not going to replace the umpires. Hopefully, just to enhance it and allow them to challenge some of the umpires' calls.
Yeah, and I think what I heard was probably two. You're probably going to get two challenges. Each team will get two challenges per game. They did it during the preseason this year in baseball. And guys, we've talked about it. Andy talked about it. There's just way too many incidents where umpires do not. And I'm saying, we talk about them missing the call. I don't think they have the ability to make these calls now with pitches in excess of 100 miles an hour on a regular basis. So it's not a failing on their part as much as, listen, we've got to bring this technology in. Now, it'll be interesting, right? With just two, I mean, they're 100 to 150 pitches a game, and each team can only challenge two. So you've really got to be selective of when you use it.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how it works. Now, Sister Jean is the chaplain to the Loyola Chicago basketball team. They had a great run, I think, to a title, and she became quite famous in the world of American sports and college basketball. She's decided to retire. I think she's earned the right to retire because she's 106.
Oh, for goodness
retiring at 106.
Wow, that's amazing.
I was talking to my wife this week because I told her this story, and I was saying, like, I'm in my 50s. I'm trying to retire as soon as I can. And here is this woman that has put me to shame that, as you say, Paul, finally has earned the right to retire at 106. It's it's a pretty incredible story. She's got such a following in the kind of Chicago area where she's based. So listen, hopefully she has many more years left that she can enjoy retirement, right? You finally got there 106. You want to make sure she has time to enjoy it.
Well, now she's a fan. Maybe she can win the three-throw competition. That would be nice, wouldn't it? That would be good. So we have to have a Kelsey in this section, one or the other.
Absolutely.
In this case, it's Jason, but it is quite a good story. He's doing commentaries these days, and he went to Baltimore to do a game and decided to join the Ravens marching band.
Brilliant.
The problem is that they couldn't find a helmet big enough for him, so rather than it being a chin strap, it was a nose strap. But I had no idea that he played the sax. He played in the jazz band and the school orchestra at his high school, so he can play a bit, Todd, apparently.
He can play a bit. And listen, I can't wait for next year. We've talked about it. I think this is going to be Travis Kelce's last season. So next year, I think Travis and Jason are going to be doing pundits together.
Yeah.
So you're going to have the Kelsey brothers. You're going to have the Manning brothers, right? Like you're going to have all these brothers doing football commentary all over the place next year. So can't wait for it.
Maybe he's going to play in the horn section of Taylor's band.
That's a possibility.
Yeah, he could get the gig. Excellent, Todd. We will catch up with you next week. Thanks very much.
See you, boys.
There we are. There's Todd McLaren on American Sports. Clips of the week are coming up next. We've got a few corkers in there, so stick around for that. And we will hear from the managers before we go ahead of the weekend's big games. And, of course, at 4, Andy Goldstein and Darren Bent will be here with another busy drive time show. But we'll get the news headlines next.
Ryder Cup update on talkSPORT with Arnold Clark. Get £750 off any used electric car or home charger.
We are underway with the Ryder Cup in New York, with Europe looking to score a first away win since the miracle at Medina 13 years ago. It's foursomes and then four balls today, but that can be a challenge in itself. Chris Wood, the golfer, not the Nottingham Forest forward, played in the 2016 contest and says it can be tricky, especially if you're playing with a different ball.
You can go 3 or 4 holes in foursomes without hitting a putt, and then all of a sudden you've got a 10-footer for a half with a ball that you're not used to.
Yeah.
That's what I found quite challenging, with the feel of the ball and the speed of the greens and all that side of things.
Liverpool's new young defender Giovanni Leone will be out for about a year after tearing his ACL. Here's Arne Slot.
Being so young, coming to a new country, playing so well in your first game, it's very hard to take the positive side. No, there's never a positive side, but yeah, you always try to look at a positive side, and that is that he's still so young.
It's unbeaten Liverpool against unbeaten Crystal Palace in the Premier League tomorrow. Rio Ferdinand's told talkSPORT Man United are improving. No, seriously.
I'm not driven and sticking to data, but a lot of the data does tell you that Man United are getting into the right positions, they're doing the right things. And the hardest thing to do in the game is to put the ball in the back of the net. And that's where Man United are falling down.
United go to Brentford, exclusively live on talkSPORT tomorrow lunchtime.
Yes, quite an opportune moment, I believe, to cross to Rupert Bell at the Ryder Cup.
Because we've won 2 matches and very convincing victories they are too. First up, after losing the first hole, John Rahm and Tyrrell Hatton have come back to win 4 and 3. A terrific response, really calm approach to their play, and they ensured the first point for Europe. Rory McIlroy and Tommy Fleetwood have just wrapped up their match 5 and 4 against Morikawa and English, and it appears that Ludwig Eiberg and Matt Fitzpatrick are closing in on victory against the world number 1 and 3, Scotty Scheffler and Russell Henley, because they are 4 up. A bit of good news for Bob McIntyre and Victor Hovland. They've just won a hole and they're only 2 down, but they've got 6 holes to play, so you never know, they might be able to rescue something from their match. But at the moment, Europe on course to take a two-shot lead into the afternoon 4 balls.
Ryder Cup update on talkSPORT with Arnold Clark. Get £750 off any used electric car or home charger.
Well, that's good news.
2-point lead, I think, Rupert meant.
Yeah, good news, that.
Yeah, it's very good news.
A 2-pint lead, good old Alan. Talking of which, it's time now for the clips of the week.
Clips of the Week on talkSPORT with Toolstation. Proudly behind the trades that work so hard for the nation. Next stop, Toolstation.
talkSPORT Clips of the Week.
Yes, Clips of the Week with Toolstation once again, and I'll kick us off today. And Sam Matterface kicks us off, working as a commentator at Port Vale v Arsenal.
They're singing "You've only come to see the Arsenal," and the Vale fans are responding with "You've only come to see the Vale." Oh, that's a spicy back pass by Humphreys.
I'd say good recovery, but it wasn't really a recovery.
No recovery at all there.
Spicy. That's not what he said in the first place.
Never mind.
Everyone's a critic.
And here's a rare clip from our colleagues over at Times Radio as Alexis Conrad marks a musical milestone last Sunday. I'll get there.
Whatever you have, we've been celebrating the 1978 release of November by Earth, Wind and Fire. The first lines are, remember that 21st night of September.
Yeah. Well, you can't remember, clearly.
And it confused me as well.
He was doing that on the 21st of September. Marking the anniversary of the 21st night of November did seem a bit strange.
He loves their other one at the PMCA.
Yes, that's very good, yeah. Well, that wasn't Earth, Wind and Fire, but that doesn't matter.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, that was...
Village People.
Village People, that's right. Yeah. So this is newsreader Amelia Beltrao with some very surprising sports news.
Rafa Benitez is eyeing up a sensational return to English football in the future. Despite his time away from the dugout, he has no plans to retire from coaching and reckons he still has plenty to offer at the World Athletics Championships in Tokyo.
Wow.
This is getting the shot put. I think it's unlikely.
Can't see him in 100-metre hurdles, to be honest,
really.
Big Rafa, but I don't know, maybe he's been working hard. Anyway, Andy.
Meanwhile, it was time for a quiz with Jamie and Jason on the sports bar.
Right, so at Christmas, people go around singing this.
Carols.
Yeah, right.
Oh, that's good.
And then, in Harry Potter, this guy's the one who wants to kill...
Voldemort.
Yeah, what you got?
Carol's Voldemort.
Good old
Carol Voldemort. Yeah, very good. Come on, no, please. Let's have your TV presenter Harry Potter characters. Yes, over on Breakfast, Alan Brazil was looking back on Betis 2, Forest 2. And who better, Andy, to do it with than City ground legend, the great Gary Birtles?
I thought Forest were going to go on and win it, not 2-2, 3-1. What did you make of the game, Gary?
I didn't actually see it, unfortunately. I was in the air.
Oh, fair enough. Okay. Didn't want to pay for the Wi-Fi.
It never stops Alan commenting.
Yeah. I didn't actually see the game, but that was never a penalty. Yeah. Alan's done that a few times.
Yes,
yeah. Okay, what's next?
It's Jeff Stelling on Breakfast discussing football's big awards night.
We're asking whether defenders are underappreciated after Virgil van Dijk came 28th in last night's Ballon d'Or list.
No, you're right. You're right first time, Jeff. Yeah, I think it's a long old night. That.
Oh yeah.
Let's bring you the TalkSPORT caller of the week now to drive.
Let's speak to John Arterman. Hi, John. John.
Oh, sorry, I had a Jaffa cake in my mouth.
TalkSPORT caller of the week.
Now, of course, Jaffa cakes do have a special place in TalkSPORT history.
Alvin here with us, with Ronnie and I, right through to 10 o'clock, taking your calls, 08717 223344, your texts and emails. Travel next. Jaffa cake getting on?
No, thanks, mate.
No, thanks, mate.
No, thanks, mate. Ronnie at the end there. So, Alan, not realising that, I suppose technically, if you wanted to push it, Alan would have had to give a Jaffa cake to everybody who heard that. All the listening millions on Breakfast.
That's very true.
Jaffa cake, anyone? Let's get an update now from Alex Crook at the Amex.
Brighton had raced into a 2-goal lead. Yankuba Minte opened the scoring on 8 minutes after some shod-stick defending from the visitors.
Yeah, shod-stick. Some of Tottenham's defended a very high line, which was pretty shod-stick all round. Wasn't as bad as Sam Matterface thought that pass was at Arsenal, but
strange
shod-stick all the way.
Yeah.
Do you think it was drastic and shoddy?
Ah, yeah.
Yeah,
a good point.
That great double act.
They were.
So what's next?
Back to Breakfast, and Alan and Gabby are clearly looking forward to the cricket.
Look forward to the Ashes, Gab, back in 2023. You were loving the action.
I enjoyed the Ashes.
especially when it's Australia because there's needle in it.
Yeah, so much better than the Indian Ashes.
Yeah, I quite like the Zimbabwe Ashes when we play them. That's always it's a bit one-sided, let's be honest. But of all the different variations of the Ashes, he's probably right. The Australian ones are the best, aren't they?
Brilliant.
And finally, it's this week's Carry On TalkSport featuring Ali McCoist on interviewing Arne Slot and Sam Matterface introducing a guest.
So I had a great chat with Arne. I thought he was in fascinating form. I really did. What a fascinating guy, lads. Really enjoyed his conversation, really enjoyed his crack.
And I'm delighted to say that Henry Winter is here with us in the press box. Hello, Henry. How are you? Oh, hold on a second. Let me turn you on. We're there.
Clearly doesn't take long to turn Henry Winter on, does it? Just a matter of seconds. Fantastic. Yeah. We should thank people who suggested clips that were played this week. They are Stuart Armour, Joe Ashton, Andy Didwell, Pope, yes, thank you, Adam Cairns, Roger in Durham, Wayne from Biggin Hill, The Reverend Ruthless, Nick Ellaby, Mark Wilson, Del the Back, and Erin McGrath. I'm a bit loath to read some of those, but they all sound okay, apart from Andy Didwell. So if you hear a clip on TalkSport over the next 7 days, please do send it in to us, talksport.com/H&J, text to 81089, tweet to TSH&J. All we need, as always, is a day and a time when you heard the clip go out, and if it's played, you will get the credit. If you want to hear those clips again, or indeed a whole previous raft of clips of the week going back some time, then you can download it as a podcast at your leisure. It'll be up in about half an hour's time, as will the H&J Daily with some of the best bits of this afternoon's show, including the chat with George Weasley himself. Ollie Phelps, who was lucky enough to play in the Ryder Cup All-Star game yesterday, and he talked us through that. So, that's all to come. And, go and check that out wherever you get your podcasts. And that was the Clips of the Week with Tool Station. Still to come this afternoon, we'll be hearing from the managers ahead of the weekend's football. Then we'll hand over to Andy Goldstein and Darren Bent with Drive. We are, of course, here with Tool Station, ready to help at over 580 stations nationwide. Next stop, Tool Station. Before we hear from the gaffers, Matt Fitzpatrick was talking, I think, yesterday about his Ryder Cup record not always being stunning. But we head back to Rupert Bell, and he's been front and centre of more good news, Rupert, hasn't he?
Absolutely. A wonderful putt on the hole to bring up a 5-3 victory, playing alongside Ludwig Øyberg, putting out the world number 1 and also the world number 3. Scotty Scheffler looked completely hapless out there, surprisingly, given how he dominates in the regular season. But here was all out of sorts playing with Henley as Øyberg and Fitzpatrick secured the 3rd point. Luke Donald, probably in his wildest dreams, never thought his team on away soil would get off to this kind of start. There's one match still out on the course. That features Xander Schauffele and Patrick Cantlay, and they are currently 2 up against Bob McIntyre and Victor Hovland, who've just got a hole back anyway to be just 2 down. But it's been an absolutely amazing start, which has left this huge 50,000 American fans completely stunned. So 3 at the moment to Europe. America head in 1.
Ryder Cup update on talkSPORT with Arnold Clark Charge. Ultra rapid EV charging at an ultra low price. Terms apply.
Of course, Rupert will be back throughout Drive and into the evening to keep you updated on everything that's going on in New York. Now, this weekend, Oasis play their final UK shows for now. The Nebworth chat, of course, at Wembley Stadium on Saturday and Sunday. Our friends at Virgin Radio are keeping the Oasis buzz alive on its pop-up station, Virgin Radio Britpop, from 10:30pm each night. Enjoy a non-stop run of Oasis classics. Great for your journey home if you're heading to the gig, or it's perfect for the ultimate pre-party soundtrack to get you in the mood. Find it by swiping through the station rail at the top of your talkSPORT app. So let's hear from some of the gaffers, Andy, shall we? Ahead of the weekend's football. On Sunday, Newcastle entertain... It's always been a strange term, that. Entertain Arsenal 4:30, and Eddie Howe, the Magpies gaffer, has been talking to the media ahead of the match, and he was asked whether he's ever used social media when he was a player. Was it out then, Eddie? I mean, it would have been the early days. Might have used Ask Jeeves. Let's find out what he said.
Ridiculous question.
It was around, and I did absorb a bit, really? And it didn't help me, so I cut it off very quickly because I didn't like what I was reading, even though they were probably right.
Good answer.
I'm just surprised it was there. I mean, actually, it wasn't that long. He's still very youthful, isn't he? We forget that, really.
And it's over now to Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta, who's also been speaking ahead of that trip to Newcastle on Sunday. He was asked about his new strategy in away games where the Gunners boot the ball out of play at kickoff, and whether he's looking to employ the same tactic at home.
Depends. First half, second half. If you concede and it's 2 minutes to go, depending. I think the context of the match and the results, I think, makes you decide what's the best thing to do now.
Just finally on that, are there any other little tactics from kickoffs that you're considering that you might use in the future?
Probably, yeah.
But you're not going to tell me what?
No.
Nothing will beat the Lincoln one the other day. I've never seen anything like it. It was literally the bloke put his foot under the ball and did like an Eddie Waring. It's like an up and under.
Really?
I've never seen that before.
So what? Just
sort of like up and forward about, not like into the like a rugby kick into the corner, just like an up and under.
From a corner?
From a kickoff.
Oh, from a kickoff?
Yeah, he put his foot under the ball and basically lofted it like that.
Okay.
It's incredible.
I think this is the sort of Atletico Madrid thing, isn't it?
Is it?
Yeah, I think there was a thing where it's like that percent. It's like a line-out ball, like a kick-off in rugby.
Ridiculous.
Get them deep into territory. You know, it's... Anyway, we'll see what happens. Enzo Maresca, we're going to hear from him now, Andy.
Yes.
Chelsea versus Brighton. You going to be there?
I am going to be there, yes.
You're with a bit of trepidation. Got a lot of injuries, haven't you?
8 players out, I think. It's not great, but what can you do? You just got to deal with it.
There's no doubt in the key player, and that is Cole Palmer. And Maresca chatted about his recovery from a groin injury.
We decided to protect a little bit Cole in terms of, don't get worse in his injury. So we decided to rest him for the next 2-3 weeks, probably until the international break, just to see if, with that rest, he can be able to recover 100% and to be completely fit after the international break. I don't think he needs surgery. It's just a matter of to manage his pain in his groin. That with the amount of games, is something that can happen. So this is the reason why we try to be a little bit conservative with him, to give him rest, and hopefully he can be 100% fit after the international break.
I'd play Esteval there, but he won't.
You don't think he will?
No.
Okay, we'll see. So, Graham Potter, we're going to hear from him. Under a bit of pressure, obviously, at the moment, and he again chatted to the media ahead of the game against Everton, David Moyes derby, and that's live and exclusive on talkSPORT on Monday. And you may not be aware of this, but Graham Potter has become a bit of a meme. There's been this face swap meme doing the rounds. And apparently some of the people he's featured on, Sabrina Carpenter, Donald Trump, the Chuckle Brothers, Barbie, the Oscars group selfie, Del Boy and Rodney.
Somebody with too much time on their hands.
Jack Nicholson in The Shining. Sydney Sweeney. I can't immediately see the resemblance. So, he's been a bit prickly recently. He was with the Moose last week, understandably, because he's under the cosh. But he was asked by the press. Somebody was brave enough to say, what do you make of it?
There is a certain recent trend you may be aware of, the Graham Potter face swap trend, which is basically superimposing your face onto any person or celebrity. Are you aware of this?
Yes, I am.
How do you feel about being trend?
Yeah, well, it made my 15-year-old son laugh a lot. So, as I said, you have to accept what comes with it, which is part of criticism. It's at times ridicule, but that's just the environment we're in, and it is what it is.
Yeah, that's a good answer.
It is.
Yeah.
Some of them are quite freakish. There's one where James Ward-Prowse in a Southampton shirt is holding up a baby, and it's Graham Potter. Graham Potter as James Ward-Prowse baby, which was very, very odd. So, go and check those out if you haven't seen them before. Harry Potter, there's obviously, I suppose, that one's bound to have popped up.
It's going to be very hard for West Ham at Everton. They're, especially home, Everton, decent, I think.
I think I'd quite fancy Everton, definitely. Our football kicks off tonight, actually. We've got West Brom versus Leicester this evening. Rosencroft is there, Jim Proudfoot and Chris Owalamo will be on commentary duty for that one. And then tomorrow, as we said, we're going to kick off with our 12:30 game, which is, where's all my notes? It is Brentford versus Manchester United with Reshman, Sam and Stuart Pearce. We've also got Cov Birmingham over on talkSPORT 2. Dance is commentating on that one with Adam Bridge and Matt Murray. And what else we got for you? A Game Day Live, Adrian around the ground.
George has done a face swap of me and you, but we don't look any different.
Really? That's not good. That's actually not good for me, Georgia. Southampton versus Borough, Tottenham Wolves in the evening.
Yeah, have I got hair? That's a good point.
Yeah, that brings back memories, doesn't it? Anyway, you'll be kept in touch with the Ryder Cup throughout the afternoon and into the evening by Rupert Bell over in New York. And we'll catch up. What are you looking through there for, Andy? What are you looking at?
They're only one up now. I think they were two up.
Okay, right. Looks like you're looking out to sea. If anybody's watching Andy, then.
Believe it or not, blinding lights in a radio studio.
Okay.
Marvellous.
At least you've got hair. Look on the bright side, albeit on a face swap. We'll catch up with you on Monday. Have a fantastic weekend. We'll be back on Monday to pour over all the big Premier League games and hopefully to rejoice in a fine Ryder Cup victory. But as we said, coming up next, I'm sure keeping a close eye on it because he loves his golf. Andy Goldstein alongside Darren Bent on Drive.
Bye.